Well, I know there's nobody on here yet, but if anybody watches this later, I just spent the last 15 minutes trying to get the laptop to work and no dice, so we're resorting back to the phone. Don't know what's up with it. But I'll wait a little bit here, see if anybody shows up. Since we got one person. Cowboy 80 Michigan. How's it going? So I just spent the last 15 minutes trying to get the laptop to work because I didn't want to use my phone this time, but I don't know what the deal is. How's it going, Farm All Skittle? So every time I tell it to go live, it won't show a picture and it wouldn't start, so I don't know what the deal is. Cold and snowy, same here. It is extremely cold out. Like, outside for 5 minutes and your hands are frozen even with gloves on. It sucks. BFH. How's it going, Devin? It's cold, no snow here in Colorado. We've got the cold and the snow. Northern Illinois. How's it going, Rammer? It's plenty cold here, too, if I said your name right. Not the greatest at pronouncing names. So, yeah, I was saying in the beginning here, I spent 15 minutes trying to get the laptop to work. And for some reason, I wouldn't take the picture and it wouldn't start. So, don't know what the deal is with that. Mountains have snow, but none here in the springs. Suppose higher elevations down there are going to have the snow. Yeah, chilly in Minnesota tonight, too. It's really cold. This morning at 6:30, we had 1 degree. It was cold. Georgia, there's somebody with some nicer weather than what we have. Perfect. Too damn cold here. You know, winter came early this year. Last year, we had more days below zero than we had above during the winter. No, this year, for it to be this cold, already in the, it's been cold since, what did my mom say? Like around the 20th of October, it's been below freezing. And it hasn't been extremely cold, but you're talking over a month, almost a month and a half of below freezing weather already. It just sucks. How's it going, Brian? Only a few more months this, yeah. Because counting the other day, we've got estimated 145 days left until spring. Seems like a long time. But I don't know. I'm gonna hoping to get some demos lined up here in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna go talk to that company over in Curtis, Wisconsin about some TMR mixers. They don't have any real type mixers. All they have are vertical type. But I'm gonna talk to their engineers and see if any of their single screw mixers would mix a small batch like anybody that watched my video today, that size batch. But I don't know that they're gonna have a mixer that would mix a batch that small. Now next year there should be more calves to feed than this year, and of course the year after there should be even more. But if I'm looking at mixing a batch for the cows and then mixing a batch for the calves, I don't know that a screw type mixer is gonna work. I think I'm gonna have to get a real type. So I'm gonna talk to their guys first, and then there's some other dealers around here that sell Kuhn. Um, if it's Kuhn or Kuhn Knight, whatever. I'm gonna talk to them about the smaller real type mixer. I think the small one's 120 cubic foot. I think that would be the right size to mix for 31 cows. I don't know. Um, I guess I'll talk to them and see what they say. I'd like to demo one and then make a batch the size that I think I'm gonna need when I get that big. Just I want to buy a new mixer and I want to buy something that's gonna work for a very long time, not buy some piece of junk that I'm gonna have to work on every day, and something that is gonna be too small in a year or two. So Oh, what do we got here? It's cold there too. Going home for 10 days and Christmas. 74 this past weekend, 29 this AM. Everybody is sick. How's it going, cuz? How many cows do I have right now? Devin, I've got, with the bull out there, there's 21 out there. But I have 8 more heifers that'll be out with the cows next year. So next year I should be feeding around 30. And that's kind of my goal for right now, unless I, by chance, get to buy this other piece of ground. Then I'm just going to keep retaining heifers and keep growing. Why go down? And yeah, that's who I'm going to go talk to is Cloverdale. Like I said, I don't think they build a real type, but you know, they say that they'll build you whatever you want. So I'm going to talk to them and see what they say. Because I'd really like a stationary to sit in the shed. And then I like it to sit in the bay where the round baler is right now. And then, how's it going, Noah? I like it to sit in the bay where the round baler is, or where the corn is right now. And then the bay where the hay is, I can have it unload with a elevator to pile it right there. And then I can scoop it up with a skid steer and go feed. Or it'd be nice to have 2 where I could load one into a feeder wagon or something. But if I get a stationary, I'm probably going to build a feeder wagon that I can pull the skid steer that's hydraulic powered. Because I really want to be able to feed in a straight row. So the cows line up behind me. Because right now they crowd around the skid steer. And I do not want to run somebody's leg over and break a leg. So I don't know with that. I'm sure there's people that know a lot more about that than I do. But, so what's everybody doing on this fabulous Friday night? I've already been to the bar and had Friday night fish fry and already back home. About ready for bed. I don't know if anybody's typing or not. I gotta keep playing with my phone so it keeps bringing up the comments. So yeah, Jeff Cloverdale, that's who I'm gonna go talk to. They're only about an hour away. Sitting here listening to me talk. Well, I need something to talk about. Shelled some corn a little bit ago. You know, Brian, I just phoned your video from like a month ago. Somehow I missed your corn harvest video from like a month back. So, I don't know. I'm not getting a lot of notifications. I don't know. It just kind of seems like everybody's having that issue lately. Thanks to that farms. The guys are still harvesting corn around here too. Freezing my ass off here. Yep, we're all in the same boat. I think it's 8 degrees out there right now, I think is what it said. It's not very pleasant, let me tell you that. Like I say, last year we had more below 0 days than we had above. Now this year it's been cold since the end of October. It just winter gets worse and worse every year. Been super wet. Yeah, you guys have been really wet over there. How is the rye doing? It's frozen. Um, I don't know. I'm nervous. You know, all the rye that was planted behind chopping was doing good. You go kick the snow back right now, it's still green. But everything I planted behind corn and beans, none of it germinated. And a lot of people have told me that it'll probably germinate in the spring, and I hope they're right. But I'm getting really nervous right now because I'm really counting on that as forage for next year. So if that doesn't grow, I don't know for sure what I'm going to do. Yeah. You know, a lot of you know how that goes. Fed cows a bale, fed the pigs, now chilling. Would I ever go to an egg bag over pile? I know slow charging. Yes, I probably would. I think what I would do if I got a bagger, I would probably bag all my winter rye. I've been talking with Ted about options with the corn because I made that video about widening my corn rows out so I could broadcast into corn to ensure that we have winter rye growing by the fall instead of this planting right after the corn and then crossing our fingers and praying that it grows. And Ted brought up maybe going to high moisture corn. Well, I don't have a harvester to store high moisture corn in right now, so like he mentioned, maybe grind it all pile and cover it. So a bagger would be really nice because if I could grind my corn for high moisture corn, maybe do some earlage and stuff, um, a bagger would be really nice for that. Be real nice for the winter rye, and I'd probably still pile the corn silage on the cement just because it's there and I can put a large volume of feed there. So and have the concrete to be on. Uh, Florida and saltwater fishing. If I could find something to feed my cows, this sounds like a hell of a plan. Kids name the pig Barbie. Well, whatever works. Barbecue. Mine were pork chop, bacon, sausage. Yeah. That's what they all are now, too, in the freezer. So, back to the corn planter and the widening of the rows. I was wrong on the corn planter. I thought that I could get it to go back to 36-inch rows. I can't. Widest I can get this center two rows is 32 inches. So, if anybody remembers back a few years ago, I had an issue with the corn planter. The marker arms would lift the planter up and pull the outside rows, or the rows that had the marker on that side down the ground. Those rows would lift up and then pull them out of the ground. I think what I might do is get the corn planter in the shop and mine the axles just bolt on. I think I'm gonna unbolt them, cut my welds, slide the axles all the way out as far as they can go on the tube, mount them back on, and then get a longer tube to weld back in there, and then lengthen the hex shaft for the drive. And then that way I could go, I think I could get up to a 42-inch row spacing. I don't ever plan to go that high. I shouldn't say that, maybe, but that'll be a different video. But then I could settle whatever I want and never have to worry about the axle. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Jason Mock, but he's been doing what they call relay beans and relay cropping. And he is growing like beans in between corn and beans in between wheat and stuff like that. And I would love to try that with the winter ride that I plan to combine. The problem is my combine, the wheels are 121 inches apart, outside to outside. Inside there's 73 inches. So in order to try and get the spacing that my combine would work, I'd have to either make some really wide rows or figure out a different rim and wheel combination to try and get it so it's less than 120 inches wide. So I don't, and this has been a couple hours ago. I might be off on the numbers. Maybe it was 140. I don't know. But I don't know. I'd like to try that. Get some flexi fingers and try that. If a guy could have beans growing in winter rye that I'm going to combine, so as soon as I combine the rye, it's going to let more sunlight to the beans and then they'll take off. But that's, if anybody's interested, just search it on YouTube. You see some videos on it. It looks like an interesting concept. It looks like there's a lot of bugs to work out in it, but it's how my buddy does high moisture corn. He grinds it, puts it in a pile and covers it. And that's probably what I would do. Came about 5 inches and quit. And that's pretty typical of winter rye because like here, it doesn't matter how early you plant it. It only gets about 5 to 6 inches tall. And that's all the taller it'll get till it goes through winter. So in my whole thinking of getting the rye planted earlier, like V4, V5 stage in the corn, it's not going to get any taller than that. It'll sit dormant underneath the canopy of the corn. But then in the fall, it'll already be established. But my thinking is that I'm going to plant in all the fields that I don't plan to graze in the fall, just broadcast the rye so it's there. The fields that I plan to plant in the fields that I plan on grazing in the fall, I'm going to do like a rye, oats, possibly clover, radishes, a big mix. So there's something growing for the cows to graze after we're done chopping. And then possibly in a field that we're going to combine that we could graze the corn stalks as well. But basically, I want to ensure that the rye is growing instead of the issue I have this year, like hoping that it's going to grow next year. And like right now, if it hasn't germinated yet, and if it does germinate, how much farther behind is it going to be versus the other stuff that was already started this year? How's it going, timer? We put some winter wheat this fall and it was pretty patchy. Not very thick. I think the ground was a little wet, and that could be it too. How's it going, Darren? Um, so I don't know. Usually, winter rye is pretty foolproof, but it still needs time to get out of the ground. And I'm a little surprised that last stuff I planted didn't, because normally it only takes 3 to 4 days and you've got rye out of the ground. I don't know if the ground was just that cold, or if it was wet and it made it cold, or what the deal was, but um, this is the first time I've ever had it not come up. Everything that I planted earlier did, but nothing that I planted after corn or beans. So, and now I don't know what if it did germinate and it just got a little sprouts, but they never come out of the ground. Are they going to freeze and not grow, or are they going to grow? I don't know. It makes me really nervous. Hi from Nova Scotia. How's it going, Daryl? So yeah, that's the whole reasoning for thinking about going back to 36-inch rows. I just think that extra 6 inches will be enough to help that rye stay alive between the rows. Me and Ted, most of you watch Ted Kaler. Me and him talked on the phone for a couple hours the other day, 2-3 hours, and come up with different ideas. And like he said, the one thing that worries him is that where the corn rows are, there might be a wide strip that you don't have winter rye growing in the following spring. So that might be a concern. I don't know. I guess we're going to try it. The plan is to get the planter in the shop, get that axle widened out, and that way I can set the corn planter whatever I want. And like I say, I'm pretty sure I could go all the way out to 42 inches. So if I want to try that relay bean deal, maybe with the right tire combination, I get the right spacing to try and do that. So that's right, Michigan. Don't know if you don't try. And I'm having a hard time getting any information from anybody else or finding any information anywhere. But there's a lot of guys that are doing a 60-30 split where they'll plant, there'll be two 30-inch rows and there'll be a 60-inch gap, then two 30-inch rows and a 60-inch gap. And they're planting other stuff between those rows. And I don't know if they're lying or not, but they're saying that their yield isn't going down because they're saying that by lowering the population, that the plants are doing a lot better on yield per plant versus per acre. So I don't really know. I'm gonna try it, and then I can use the 40-20. Right now, even if I go to 36-inch rows, I can still get the 40 or the 6400 on the rows. If for some reason I finally find a tractor that I want, like still trying to find a 74 or 7600, but I cannot find one that's what I want. The one issue with the 64 is I don't have the 3-point on it. It has some issues. So I would have to fix the 3-point on that before I could use it for broadcasting. I don't know if it's that motor on top or if it's the switch, because the 3-point is all the way down or it's all the way up and laboring. I don't think that it should be laboring when it's all the way up. So I think it might be that $500 or $600 motor on top. So for right now, at least I could use the 40-20 and A few guys that I have talked to that are experimenting with it have said that with the 30-inch rows, they're not having a very good success rate, and they're attributing it to too much shade too soon. So I think the extra 6 inches would help the cover crop. So I don't know. Oh, Wes is thinking Pioneer. Pioneer is a good seed. Pioneer's good all over. How's it going, Mike? Oh, what's the average yield for corn around there? County average here is 80 bushel. I don't know when that average was set because most guys around here are running 140 to 170. Some guys are getting over 200, but a lot of them run irrigated ground. So around here, county average is 80, but most guys I know are getting at least 140. And mine is in that 140 to 150. If I find a 7400, I'll let you know. Um, a buddy of mine, Josh, he watches me on YouTube, but he doesn't have an account, so he messages me on Facebook. He found me one down in Iowa. It's only got 5,500 hours on it. It's front wheel assist, has the shifting that I want. It's everything I want. It's a little more money than I really want to spend, but given the fact that it's low houred, the price probably isn't very bad. The only problem is it's yellow. It has the industrial paint on it instead of the green. But the price is right, so I don't know what's going to happen. I need to call him and go look at it. Yeah, Tada Farms. I actually custom combine for a few guys with wide row. So that's why it doesn't scare me to go back to wide row, at least on the grain corn. What the thing I don't have any facts or information on is corn silage. Um, the guys that I combine for don't do any silage. They only do cash crops, so they sell all the grain. I have one friend that does wide row on his grain because he's only got a wide row corn head for his combine, and then he picks a lot of corn. But now, when for all of his silage corn, he hires a guy to plant that narrow. Now, he swears up and down that going from the narrow row to the wide row, he has never noticed a difference in bushels per acre. But going from wide down to narrow, he has seen an increase in tons per acre in silage. So that's what concerns me. And that's why I'm thinking about doing the adjustments to the corn planter where I move the tires all the way out to the end of the frame. That way I can easily adjust it. Then that way I could possibly plant wide row for everything I'm going to pick or combine. And then I can plant narrow row for my silage corn. And like I say, it would take me an hour or less to go from one to the other. It's really simple with my corn planter, and most 7,000 deers would be about the same. And I've heard the same, John. There's other guys doing that 60-30 split too. And they're saying that the yield's not dropping on those fields. So I don't totally understand it. I know where there's 1155 mats for sale. Make you a fair deal. No, I'm gonna stick with deer. How many day corn do I plant? Kyle, this year I planted a 93 day, a 94 day, and an 86 day. I want to say that the Stein 9202G was an 86 day, and that's an artesian. And then I planted Golden Harvest. That was a 93 day. And the other one was a Bruner 94 day. So I passed my MIG flat, but the stick flat is questionable though. Gotta wait on the inspector to come back and make the call. Well, hopefully I passed it. You know any of the history at all on that yellow deer? I don't, Devin. Um, I was just sent, like I say, Josh sent it to me on Facebook Messenger, and I read it's just on Craigslist or whatever. 5,500 hours, and it's got yellow paint. But I don't know if it was township owned or county owned or what the deal was. And like my 6400 was a county tractor, and it's got higher hours. But what the reason I bought it was the county always has John Deere service everything because Deere puts a different type of warranty on county stuff than they do on farmer stuff per se. So it didn't scare me to buy a county tractor. And if that was a county tractor, that would make it even better. It'd make the price more attractive, anyways. What forage am I using to finish my steers? I'm just using corn silage, that ground hay, and then just ground cob corn or shell corn, and then I just mix salt mineral in it. I was going Midwest. I told you I'd be on 8 o'clock, but I was a little late. I was going 69, Duluth. What did I miss? Just me talking about you, Ted. That's all. Have I thought about building a crop roller? I haven't because my plan is to either graze all my cover crops or my winter and a spring cut for forage before I plant another crop. So I don't really have a use for a crop roller. And I had thought about it if I ever got more ground to rent and strictly for cash crops, I had thought about it. But what I had thought about doing instead of buying one or building one was I have that cultimulcher. I thought about disengaging the teeth and then just running the crop down with that and then just turn around and come back a different angle and hopefully that would crimp it enough. Got ripples right through. Get better tonnage on 30 versus 38. Not being a silage grower, I'm going out on saying this, but I'm betting it'd be 2 or 3 ton. I probably agree with you, John. It only makes sense. Now, some other people asked me about population that I was going to lose whatever if I went from 30 to 36. That they figure I'd lose a sixth of my acreage, but honestly, you're not because you can adjust the population on the corn planter. So I wouldn't lose population. And actually, this year I'm going to back off on the population because of my field back there. Last year I planted 29,000 pop. This year I planted 35, and I got the same loads per acre. So to me, it seems like I might as well go back to 29 because I'm just spending extra money on seed, but I'm getting the same yield. And my corn last year did 145 to 150 bushel. This year did 145 to 150 bushel and did the same loads on that field. So I think I'm actually going to cut back in the population. So possibly going to 6-inch wider rows, back off the population. Maybe we'll get fuller ears. I don't know. Just interesting how corn does up there. I live in Nebraska and we plant 116 day, 250, 300 bushel. That would be nice. There's a few guys here that on the center pivots with a lot of fertilizer can get 300 on a good year. I don't know what they're planting for population. I don't know how much fertilizer they're putting on, but they have tanks that run fertilizer right through the irrigator every pass. And I can't remember what they said it is they're putting on. It's nitrogen of some sort. I don't know if they're putting any potash in with it or any type of K or P or anything, but very few guys can get that up here. And most guys that grow silage are planting 104, 105 day. But a lot of us just try to pick out a grain variety that's a tall, medium tall to tall. So, and that's what I do. And then that way, my crop insurance, it's easier for my crop insurance agent because if you're growing a silage blend or a silage variety, then they want to weigh it all. Versus if you plant a grain variety, then they can just go out there and do a kernel count and stuff. So, how's it going, Dan? Ted's ears are burning. There's a 3588 for sale on Craigslist for like 12,000. How's it going, small town? Hey, Jackie. I don't know how far behind I am here, so I'm trying to catch up. I'd up my pop 15 to 2 on your 36-inch rows. And my thinking was, John, I if right now I'd have to actually back off because I'm planting way too close to population now. If I went to 36, but I was thinking about backing down to 31.6 because that would be two sprockets less than what I have in there right now, and then going to 36, that's what a population on it. 32% through the pivot. Yeah. So my hay ground is 4 miles away. I'm wondering, is it worth my time hauling manure there, or do I apply any fertilizer? Honestly, um, with it being that far away, I don't know. I think I would haul my manure on my fields at home and rent a fertilizer buggy, get whatever potash you need for that. I'm sure it's grass ace. You're gonna want urea and stuff too. I'd haul a fertilizer buggy there one time. Put all your manure on fields close to home. That's, especially if it's rented ground. I'd keep my manure on my own fields at home. You bet, KW. That's where the party's at. Nothing wrong with 3588. No, there's not. Neighbor of mine across the river has one. It's his chopping tractor. He wanted a front wheel assist, and he couldn't justify that kind of money, so he bought a 3588. They had a 1586 is their chopping tractor. They bought that 2+2, and then 15 is basically just till the track now. Duals never come off of it, so nothing wrong with them. I like deer. I don't like that shifting on the left stuff, but I'm kind of picky. At this point in my life, I'm going to buy what I want. I'm not going to buy something just to get by. Because I kicked the idea around of buying a 4430 just to have one more tractor put in the chopper, and then I could do other jobs with it during the summer. Then the 64 could just sit on the baler. But I just, if you can find one cheap enough, maybe. But when they want 15 to 20,000 for a 4430, and I'm looking at 74, 7600s for around 25 to 30. Might as well just buy what I want. Oh, come back here. Everybody give a thumbs up. Has over 12,000 hours on it. I don't doubt that. International made a good engine. Massey shifts on the right. If I'd have been making videos 1 year earlier, I would have had a lot more tractors to make videos in. Because a year earlier, I still had the 4030, I still had the 4440. My buddy Jeremy that has all the big square balers, they were still using the Masseys. They had a Massey, what the heck was it? It was a big V8 thing, and it had a power shift deal right here, was kind of up and down, but then it had like a high and low type deal, and they had a piece of strap cross with screws in it, so you couldn't shift to the other thing because the other range was out of it. But that thing was it probably was a nice tractor in its day before it got abused. But what a tank. Drove my neighbor's 7140 Magnum. Nice tractor, but I like my Deere tractors. I do too. I've drove a lot of Magnums, and they're nice tractors. But I still like my Deere. Alice 7020. Michigan, the funny thing about that, in this part of Wisconsin, you can buy 7,000 Alice's all day long for less than 10,000. And a lot of times you can buy them for less than 7,000. There was just a 70, was it a 7020? Might have been a 7040, I don't know. One of them. But there was one for $5,500 and there was nothing wrong with it. And it actually looked decent. Center. I'm not going in an airplane anywhere. 1135 Massey. Back in the 50s, we had a corn called, I'm assuming that's Dixie 18, 12 feet tall. I believe it. You need a Ford TW15. Dan, if I could find one that wasn't all beat to hell and wasn't overpriced, I would buy one. I'd love to have a TW15 Series 2 front wheel assist and a 7710 Series 2 front wheel assist. I would love to have them in my collection. If any of you that see my pictures on here of over my cousins, it's all Ford. And that TW5 is a beautiful tractor. And it's a nice tractor. And he has had, oh, his dad had a TW15 Series 2. Wish I could have bought that one. Then they had an 8630. They've got the 8970. It's got the 8160. A lot of nice tractors. I'm not a Ford New Holland guy, but the older Fords I like. I think he needs an 8030. Yeah, I want front wheel assist. That axle weldable. I think you're talking, Darren, on the grain cart. No, it's snapped right off, even with the beam. Your dad was an engineer on them. The AC had a lot of troubles with high-low on the floor. Did they? Maybe that's why you can buy them cheap. I farmed with 4-row equipment and bought a 4400 with 480 hours. Wow. I'll have to check that out. W45. Michigan, there's always L's for sale. TW like a deer. Overworked and overpriced. Pretty much, Ted. Kind of like a Magnum. I wouldn't mind a Magnum either, but they're just as high priced as a freaking green one. Yeah, Dan, they're. I don't know. I just like that style of them. Yeah, you're right, Devin. They take a little bit of getting used to the shifting in them. Um, the only thing I dislike when I drove the TW5 of my cousins is it seems like you gotta bend over so far to shift them. That's the one thing I dislike. I like Deere how they've been set up since what have they been set up since 73 with everything at your fingertips. I mean, you don't have to bend over to shift them or run the throttle. It's all right here. Deere had it figured out back in the early 70s. 7020 here sold for 5,300. The bigger tractors sold cheaps. Yeah, and that's a lot here too. It, it it all depends on the area, but a lot of those older tractors nobody wants anymore either. So look up JB tractor, small town in Minnesota. It's got a lot of John Deere usually. I'll have to look that up. Hydraulics are very slow. I don't doubt that. I know my cousins updated a lot of them. Um, they put a different pump in them. But he was saying, oh, this has been 3 or 4 years ago now. We did in a white 2110. There's a chain that drives the transmission hydraulic pump or the primer pump or whatever you want to call it. And then we had to put a new shaft that goes all the way through for the PTO. And when we took the pump out of that, he said that they've got the same pump in than a Ford does. So when he changed the pump in his 9600, he put a bigger pump in there, and it makes a big difference. I just need any 100 horse. Yeah, Jack, you do need air conditioning. Front wheel assist 4360 sold last year 28.5. Wow. Yeah, farm boy, that's pretty good money for 4,400 hours isn't too bad on one though. I'm looking for 115 horse, John. A 7400 is actually only 105, but I have a few friends that work at Deere, and they'll set it at 115 to 120 horse for me. So if I can find a 72 through a 7600, I want that 414 engine. See you later for him. Gonna need a tractor replaced for 230. She is getting a little tired. Transmission, yep. Looking for, you know, and those aren't bad for a chore tractor. And I wouldn't, I'm not saying I'd ever be opposed to get a 4230 or a 4030. I had a 4030 that I sold. Um, the only issue it had when you were in the low side in the quad, if you were below 1500 RPMs, you couldn't steer. If you were above 1500, everything worked just right. If you're in the high side, everything worked just right all the way down to an idle. And what I was told is on the side of the quad pack, there's a tube that goes in there and the O-ring goes bad, or that comes out of the clip and the tube pops off. So you lose all your steering and everything until you have the hydraulic pressure up enough that everything works again. So I ended up selling it the way it was, and the guy bought it knowing what was wrong with it, and I don't know if he was going to fix it himself or what. But they say that the 4030 and the 4230 are both known for that. Somebody said that they're the same chassis, but just a different engine. You got the 329 versus the 404. So I don't really know. But it was a damn good tractor. Yeah, 70, 80, or 80, 70 is way overkill. Yeah, I know that, Blake. Um, Everyone that I've ever talked to that has the 7,000 deers has said that they're always dialing 115 to 125 horse, and they're only supposed to be between 95 to 115. So I'm kind of figuring if I buy one, it's already going to be around the 115 horse. But being I've got buddies that work at Deer, we'll hook it to a dyno and see what it actually is. The clean farms, I hear what I miss. You haven't missed much. Check out Baldwin Auction in Baldwin, Iowa. They have some 7,500, 7,600. I'll have to check that out. Nice seat for 40 series. I think with those, I think you can still get the replacement cushions. But if you buy a 30 series and it's got the vinyl seat in there and you want to go to the deluxe seat, good luck finding one because you can't get them from Deere anymore. And I always go through Downing Allstate's Ag, go through all the combines, go through all the swathers, go through everything there trying to find a deluxe seat. They're always gone. My 4030 had the seat in it when I bought it that's on the 4020 now. And the neighbor had a 3430 swather for parts, and I stole that seat out of there to put in the 4030. Otherwise, you can't find them. Are you rocking? I'm rocking in my recliner. Too bad it's dark. I can't see outside, though. Sounds good, John. What you thinking of doing? Demoing? Well, TMR mixers. Kind of waiting to hear back on some other things. Maybe some new Deere equipment. Maybe some New Holland equipment. Just kind of waiting to see what happens there. I don't want to say too much about those things yet. Got some things in the works, maybe. Right from the head of the company. Who knows? So, TMR for right now. Yeah, see, on the newer Deere you can, but the 55 or 60 series and older, the deluxe seats, it's really hard to get those seats anymore. Our 6300 dyno that's 85. And see, 85 horse is what the 6400 is supposed to be set at. But I think it's more than that. I agree. Your 6420, yeah. And your 6420 runs that 13-foot disc by no problem. Find a cheap cement mixer. I got one. I got a cement mixer, remember? I poured concrete in there where my calves are right now. You might be next to how farms work. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that, Ted. Late to the show. Down to 18. It's below 10 right now, Mark. I don't know exactly how cold it is, but it sucks outside. Before I started, I came in from putting wood in the stove and making sure that the calves in the water had a horse. I got to go back out afterwards. Feed the horse. I always feed her around 10 o'clock at night. It didn't take long for the hands to get cold. How's it going, Farm Mall Fanatic? 23. You're lucky. 23 is a heat wave compared to what we have. My 4440, when I sold it, had, what did it have on it? Had less than 2,500 hours on the tack. The tack was replaced when the new engine was put in it. The new engine was put in at less than 4,000 hours. It's not always a good idea to leave a tractor sitting on a blower running for a long period of time if you're not going to be back right away. Because all it takes is for that line to break that goes up to the turbo. And it doesn't take them very long to pump all the oil out of them. And when they pump all the oil out of them, they go kaboom. So yeah, my 4440 I bought on an auction. When I bought it, only had like 1,300 hours on that motor and had a Warsaw motor in it. That thing was awesome. With them, when you buy their engines, see, it used to be TTP, I believe, and then it was bought up by Warsaw. I think that's how it works. But it's got the tag right on the engine from the date that it was built, the dyno tag and everything right on there. That was a nice tractor. But when we went to no-till and all this, we didn't figure we need that big tractor anymore. So I ended up selling that shortly after I bought the 6400. Because honestly, I love the 6400 more than the 4440. I miss the power of the 44, but I like the 6400 is the whole package better. Oh, where are we? Our white 285s and 49700s were two different hoses, but the 285 kept up and the 97 were pretty good. My buddy Crossroads got that 9700 now. 16 degrees is at Michigan's place. Buy a truck cement mixer. 2 here. Massey's got 15. Scotty's got 34. Dan's got 25. I'll just say your channel name. Farm Grown Country Strong's 13. Mark's 10. -5 Thursday morning. Yeah. Yeah, I never had a problem with my 4440 either. My 4440 actually went down to, I can't remember if it's Illinois or Iowa. It went down to an organic farm down there. They were raising, I don't know how much corn, but then they were getting into beef. So they wanted a bigger tractor. So they got a hell of a deal on mine, I'll tell you what. I wish I would have sold it for more. Look good with a Magnum. Yeah, they're a good tractor. I get to drive 7110, 7120, 7130. The 7110 is that two-wheel drive that we rake with. 7120, or no, not a 7120. They got two 7130s. Those are what's on the baler. They got the one front wheel assist and the one two-wheel drive. Those are all in the big square balers. And actually, the 7130 front wheel assist is the one that's on the grain cart. So, Ted's got 9 degrees. So, yeah, I'm no stranger to the Magnums. What do you think about Oliver tractors? I had a 1955 back in 2005, 2006. I had a 1955 with a factory cab. It was a hell of a tractor. And that tractor is what made my water run. I had it for a couple years, and I built my water run here to try and. I wanted to keep it so I wasn't farming the water run. I wanted to make it a waterway. Well, we were using that 1955, and this is the second year I owned it, third year I owned it, whatever it was. We're making this waterway, and it was after dark, and I hit almost like a dead furrow. Ever since then, the transmission made a hellacious sound. If you grab the shifter and pull really hard on it, the sound will go away, and I really hated that. And I wasn't going to stick any money into it, so I ended up trading it off on my 4020. So that's how I got the 4020. And when I bought the 4020, we knew that it overheated, and it was either blown head gasket or something else, and it turned out to be a hole in the sleeve. So I did a complete overhaul on that when I bought it. Farmall, I have not been putting the hunting videos on because every time I put a hunting video on there, not so much the videos of me just taking video of sitting there hunting, but anytime there's a dead animal in there, they all get flagged, they get demonetized, they get blocked. So I just go putting hunting videos on there. They got a hell of a lot of views and a lot of thumbs up, but they'd only be up there for 3 4 days, maybe a week. Then all of a sudden they get blocked or they get flagged or they get something. So screw it. With your combine having that many hours, what's the most worn out part? Honestly, Kyle, I have no idea. I've never fixed anything on it yet. Um, I don't remember how many hours were on it when I bought it. I don't remember how many hours are on it right now. But I've run, I don't know, 500 600 acres through it or better since I bought it. And the only thing that I've ever had to fix on it is the bean head. The bean head is a problem child. 7045 would be a nice tractor. I don't, I'm not saying that I'd never own one. If I had a lot of land and I had endless amounts of uses for more tractors, I would buy some of these other ones. But when you only farm, you know, mid 100 acres, you don't need 50 tractors around the yard. So it's kind of what do you want the most? And that's what you go for. Honestly, the 64 and the 4020 is all I really need. But it'd be nice to have a third tractor, and I don't count the 60 because I technically don't own the 60. The 60 is really my dad's. And there's only so much you can do with that thing. So, 3 tractors is really all I need. So if I got a 7,000 series, I got the 64 and the 4020, which eventually I'd like to trade off on a 5,000 series. That's all I really need. No, someday when I'm rich and famous and have all kinds of money just to blow and I can build another big shed to park everything in, I'd love to go out and buy a TW15, buy a 7710, buy this, buy that, and have a bunch of them just to look at and pull out and drive around the yard. But I'm not at that point in my life yet. Magnum is all we run now. We went from John Deere to Magnums. I believe it. Magnums are nice tractors. I get to drive them too. How's it old 2-cylinder doing? It's sitting in the shop, waiting for me to call Downing Tractor and order a Bendix for it because John Deere left me waiting for four weeks and never got me one. 1850 rude and crude. Yep, they kind of were. And when you put a new injector pump in them, they're a nightmare to bleed out. That CAV pump that sits up and down. Opinion on starting YouTube. Anybody can chime in. Start it, man. You got it. The worst part now, I started at the right time. When I started, you didn't have to have the 1,000 subscribers. You didn't have to have the X amount of hours of viewing. I started at the right time. But with you, just start it because it's going to take you a while to get there. So don't wait. If you have any inkling to do it, just do it. Don't wait. Don't care about what anybody else says. Just do it. That's all I can tell you. Other animals reporting you. Yeah, probably. Dang deer. Yeah, you're right there, cuz everybody gets offended by everything. The 60 is sitting in the shop. Hasn't moved. I shouldn't say that it actually moved. It's the 420 in there too. Soft tube, you got that right. Um, like I say, I just got to call and get the Bendix ordered. It's one of those things that I keep forgetting about every day. It's not the tractor I haven't used in 4 or 5 years, so it's one of those things that if you're not looking at it, you're not thinking about it. So I keep forgetting to order the part. The damn starter still tore apart on my bench in the same spot it was when I made the video. It's got more junk around it now. But Yeah, I just need to get the Bendix ordered, and I'm hoping that they don't give me the runaround that Deer gave me because Deer, I ordered it, and from Deer it was going to be $170 for Bendix, and I said, "Oh, is there another option?" They said, "Yeah, A and it was like $30 from them. I said, "Order it for me." Well, after 3 weeks went by, I called down there, and I said, "What's going on with that Bendix?" He said, "I don't know. Let me call and find out." He called me back the next day and said it's on back order, and they don't know when they're going to get them. So I waited at least one more week, if not two, when I called back and I said, "Any word on it?" He said, "Let me call and find out." And he said, "They're still in back order." So I said, "Cancel it. I'll just find one somewhere else." And that's where it's been sitting ever since. So, oh, I got to get back to where I was. Don't know what happened with Oliver Farm Boy. He, the problem is in his videos, there's too many phone numbers in there, and the people started calling him because on his dad's trailer, you could see his business number or their home number or whatever it was. And people started crossing the line and calling him and then using his name when they're at different places. That happens. But, you know, and I don't advertise my phone number anywhere. There's people that I'm friends with on Facebook that on there that they can find my number and call me whatever, but I know who they are. They're not just anybody on, anybody out there. So, and on Facebook, normally you can tell who's real and who's not. So, and I get so far behind on friend requests on there. My phone doesn't. I use my phone for most everything, and I don't always get the friend requests. And then all of a sudden I'll see, and they'll be like, "Whoa, there's like 5 friend requests here. There's actually like 25, and only 5 of them are real people." But, and if anybody sends me one and I don't reply to it, it's either because I didn't find it, or I just haven't got around to like making sure that you're a real person, not one of these fake accounts. And then I get behind on that too, and that makes it even worse. But other than that, there's not a lot of videos to make. And right now is the best time to be making videos because ad rates are the highest through the holidays. So, um, how's it going, Wayne? I reference me in their videos in not such a nice way. 27.5 for a blower tractor. I got rid of it. The egg dealer wasn't the best for parts. I can I can agree with you on that. Well, if I get once I get it running, you'll see a video of it running, but there ain't a whole lot to do with that little tractor. The last thing I used it for was I was green chopping for the cows, and I had a poly wire strung out that I would feed underneath, and then every couple days I'd move down a little bit so I wasn't feeding the same spot every time. So I'd go chop a little bit in a chopper box, hook up that tractor, and go and feed it out. That's all it did that last year. Then when the starter finally went kaput in it. Have you guys had any issues with the wrong crowd finding out about your stuff? I don't really know what you mean about that one, but I haven't had that many problems. There's a certain group of people that ever since one certain channel want to start picking fights. Before that, I never had a single thumbs down, and ever since that whole little deal went down, there's been consistent 1 to 5 thumbs down in every video. Before that, there never was. So it's either that one person has multiple accounts, or he's got a bunch of his buddies that are doing it. So other than that, no. I have not, Mark. I have never fed wet distillers. We did at the dairy growing up, but I never have here. Yeah, microbrewery here. Yeah, that I can't help you on, man. I would almost talk to a nutritionist on that. Went through Napa all the way. Maybe I should call Napa and see if they can give me a Bendix for it. I agree, Devin. Uh, Oliver66 had a good channel. I'm a deer guy through and through, but I'm not so arrogant and full of myself and uppity that I can't go and watch Michigan Farming with his WD-45 or his 15 or his 686 or 656 or 674 or whatever it is, or watch Mark with his magnums or watch anybody else. It's the farming that I love. It's not just about the tractor. So I liked watching Oliver 66 too. I had an Oliver. It was a nice tractor. I think that Oliver was about as close to a Deere as you could get. Um, but to me, it's all about the farm. It ain't about the color of the paint. So to me, it didn't matter. I liked watching him. Friends of friends. And that might be how I have mine set too. I don't know, John. I know I have it set so only friends can see my posts, but I think anybody can send me a friend request because I get. I'm sorry, but you look like me, you know, knocking on 40's door, kind of overweight. I don't shave, you know. There's no way that many good looking women are going to send me friend requests. When you start looking through and they've got 5 friends, they're all Muhammad and everybody else, you know it's fake. So, or they don't have any friends, it's fake. So, anybody else buffering? How's it going, TNT? Put that 60 to work. Darren, I'm not going to even bring up the name. It doesn't matter who it was, it's in the past. Uh, that's a road we ain't going down anymore. Steering a tractor, I would learn stuff while watching his channel. I agree, Devin. He was very good at explaining what he was doing, and he studied a lot of the history of the company too. I mean, not only is he's an Oliver guy, but he's so passionate about it. He reads every piece of article and literature that he can about it. He knows so much about the history of it. That's what made it even better. So I agree with you on that. 40 past a long time ago. Yeah, Midwest. I mean, you've got you've got stuff there to start with. You've got equipment now. You're working on getting something started. And you know what? You're in the perfect place to start a channel about getting started. You started with nothing. You're building it up. What better time to start a channel for us to follow a guy that's young, just getting started? You can watch the whole growth all the way through. I mean, it's 2019. We can watch you from now until 2025, and you know how much is going to change between now and then? It'd be a great storyline to watch and keep up with. So I think you should. How about 72? You youngster. Yeah, he had a great channel. So yeah, if I were you, I would start that channel. Show what you've got right now. Tell us what you can about it. You know, be a great place to start. Cause you're still small. You just got started. I mean, to me it seems perfect. You know, I can't remember if you've got cattle yet or not, but I know you bought the haying equipment stuff. I mean, you bought that Alice. I don't remember if you got the transmission thing figured out in or not yet, but you've got material there to start with, and as you expand, you've got more to go with. So I think it'd be a good start to a channel. You ever been on an IH66 series? I like the transmission, but hated the throttle position. Uh, yeah, the throttle up there seemed goofy to me too. I can't say that. Well, I've been on a 1066, been on a 1466. Um, I always wanted to buy a 706. I had a 560. I had a 504 row crop. Um, those, of course, shifters between your legs, just 5 speeds. But The only thing I disliked about the 66 series or even like the '06 series and that, it seems like if you're not exactly perfect, they always grind gears. Um, we had a 706 gas as one of the haul tractors growing up for hauling chopper boxes and wagons down the road. It was a screaming demon down the road, but you can never shift without grinding gears, and I absolutely hated that. We never got to use a 420 for hauling because it's always on the blower. Um, and the other tractor was a 3020. Yeah, we were spoiled. 3020 gas, too. But once we got older, um, the 7060 Alice was a road tractor for hauling. And then one of the 44s was. The other 44 was a chopping tractor. So the 144 that was the planting tractor got to be a haul tractor in the summer. The 44 for chopping, chopped all summer. And then in the spring it was set up for tillage. And then the Alice 7060 was a tillage tractor. But that's what we were blessed with. So then of course I guess we could have been hauling with the 60 and the A. Could have been better or worse, I guess. Yeah, see, Darren, that's the problem. You're almost 30 years old. Mom and dad shouldn't run your life. That's, I don't understand that. Plan out the transmission up. There you go. There's more stuff to make videos about. Everybody wants to see the 60 and me working on it, and all I gotta do is get the stupid part for it, and I can make another video or two on it. So I think the repair videos get a lot of views and a lot of subscribers. My Bobcat videos every month are the top viewed videos. And dumb me, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the Bobcat broke on me. That 8 months ago, I just put a brand new drive belt on it. I just replaced that drive belt a week or two ago. And Timer and them guys all know because we're friends on Snapchat. But I had the tensioner pulley crap the bed. That brand new belt exploded. It took the belt off that run the fan. And when it shot out through the fan, it took all the grills off the side. So, dumb me did not make a video of replacing the drive belt and the new tensioner pulley. I should have because that would have been my next big video. But I didn't. There you go. See, you're already getting subs. No, you gotta start making videos, bud. 1466, awesome workhorse flight on the road. Yeah, I'm not saying they're a terrible tractor. I'm never very good at shifting them. 706, you can never shift that thing without a grinding. Jump to the 56 series, the change you could add. No, when you say the slick shifter, see, I've drove one that only had one shifter on that side, but it was still like the high-low. And then I drove like the ones that are like the '06s where they had the high, low, and then you had the 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you say slick shifter, are you talking about the one lever that did everything? Yeah, Darren. I mean, there's so many things you can make videos of. You know, you've got a weld shop, you've got a piece of equipment there, and if you would actually just get to making the videos and get the subscriber base built up, you would not believe how far it could go. But you can't make excuses for not doing anything. Like, I'm making excuses now that there's not much going on. I mean, I could get the corn planter in there. We could start working on that if anybody really gave a crap to watch it. I should have made a video on the Bobcat, but I didn't. Should go get the part for the 60 and make a video of that. Just haven't. Really, I should go buy that part for the 3-point on the 6400. We can make a video of that. My luck, I go and order that $600 part, and that won't be what's wrong with it. But just got to do it. Yeah, the international flight on the road. See, like my 560 that I had a turbo on it, had M&W turbo, and it came from mom and dad's. I bought it from dad when I bought this place. But when I was probably 13, 14 years old. That's the first tractor I fixed. The injector pump went out of it. And Dad went to down and got used injector pump out of, I believe it was a 706. So I had never worked on a tractor before that in my life. My dad was not a mechanic. He got me the injector pump. I talked to a girlfriend of mine, which later was a girlfriend. At that time was just a female friend. I asked her dad if, because I know they work on stuff, and he kind of explained to me how to do it. So I went out there, took the old pump off, put the new one on. Didn't really know much about setting everything. Got the tractor started and it ran. Now there's a high idle setting and a low idle. Well, the low was right. It idled down perfect. But when you open her up, that thing would do about 55 miles an hour down the road. And it was a hell of a tractor for traveling from one field to the next with the round baler on behind doing custom work. Because when I was 15 years old, I was already custom baling. And I had that 560 with a Massey Ferguson 560 round baler. You want to talk about highfalutin. Yeah, buddy. You chop baled hay with your chopper, you think I could chop baleage with mine, or is it going to stick and plug? Nah, if you're feeding it through a chopper like I am, it'll go through just fine. You know, if you're going in a windrow, that's a different story because you're putting a lot more volume through it. But I'm just forking it in there, so I think you'd be fine. You have a good night, Tada Farms. Well, Darren, I don't know what to say about your parents. They don't seem that intelligent to me. Making money to me is never a waste of time. Use a micro switch which acts like a clutch brake. Did not know that. Lots of orders and shifting comes easy. When Apple took away my ability to airdrop directly to YouTube, they took most of the wind out of my sails, destroyed my desire to post. I don't. How did they do that? See, on mine, I take everything off my cameras, whether it be my phone or the other ones. I have my card reader that I put my SD thing in, then I put them on the computer, transfer everything there, and then I actually use my Cyberlink video editor with everything because it uploads so much faster. But I have uploaded straight from my phone, and it's not too bad. But some things take an hour, and I don't like my phone being in the house for an hour. I like to take it with me everywhere I go. And I have uploaded straight from the other computer, but it just works easier for me to go through the editor. Just dumps hydraulic pressure. It could be. That would be handy, Laurel Creek. That would be real handy, especially if it fed out nice and smooth. That's my thing. By the time you're done forking 2-3 round bales through a chopper, you're about wore out. But it's been working really good. And the biggest thing that I've noticed, I don't really want to say that I'm saving hay because I am, but they're not wasting as much. And I don't have some that are just going to the round bale feeder, and I don't have some that are just going to the silage. This way, everybody's eating the same, and they're actually eating. They're eating consistent. I don't really know how to explain it. So they all look a hell of a lot better now than they did before. I can tell you that. How many bales can you bale an hour? No, your bale unroller, is that where it's just the bale spear in the center and then it's got like 3 spears that come out and a hydraulic motor with a chain that spins and they just wrap the outside? A lot of, yeah. And see, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. With the way I'm doing it right now, I'm not ending up with a bunch of stuff in the round bale feeder that they're not eating, or I'm not ending up once a week having to clean out a bunch of silage that they didn't eat because they all decided to eat hail this week, or you know. And mixing ground corn with the silage was better, but I still think they're doing a lot better this way. A TMR mixer would be nice to have everything down to more of a science. Like, you're putting in 200 pounds of corn every time. You're putting in 150 pounds of hay every time. You're putting in 400 pounds of corn silage every time. But I, there are TMR mixers for sale right now that I could go buy. And I don't want to just go buy a used one from all the way across the state and get it home and find out it's a piece of junk, or the scales don't work, or it's too big or too small. So I am going to demo new ones first to kind of figure out exactly what I need and what I want before I settle on anything. And honestly, I think I'm going to finish out this winter doing it the way that I'm doing it. Um, Before next winter is when I really want something here. Because I'm going to have a lot more cows to feed. And I don't know for sure if I want to go stationary or trailer. If I go stationary, I'm going to build a feeder wagon, a feeding wagon that I can run with the hydraulics and a skid steer and pull through there because I want to be able to drive straight through feeding the cows. So instead of them being in front of me, the cows are behind me lining up eating. Because right now they crowd the skid steer and I am waiting to break a leg. It takes so long to feed the cows their silage because they are right there. You would not believe how many times I back up and you can feel it. As soon as you feel something dragging a little bit, you stop and make sure that there's not a cow standing there. Because I have had legs cut underneath the tire, but you catch it just the right time or it pinches them and you don't break anything. And that's why I want where I can drive through and feed, whether it be along the edge of the building, underneath a electric fence so they're not standing in their feed, or drive through on the outside. I want something like that. The calves, they're not as bad because they don't usually crowd the skid steer. So, oh, where are we? How many choppers do you have? Devin, I have the 717 that I made into a wood chipper. I have the Super 717 that I'm using for chopping this hay and for bedding. That chopper has been a part of my life since I was a baby, and the knives are so shot in it that I couldn't even go chop anything out in the field with it right now because it never would. And then I have the 718. I'm trying to find like a 782 or a 790, or if I decide that I can get the rye growing really good and everything, I know that I'm gonna have it to chop every year. I may go back to a 3950. Get the 7.5 foot hay head and then the 2 roll corn head for that, and then just keep using the 718 till it pukes out, and then use the deer for everything. I don't know for sure. See you, Mark. Yeah, Devin, I talk to Ben Vieser all the time. Me and him message back and forth on Messenger all the time. Yeah, the sorghum. I see he wants to do a sorghum thing this summer. I don't know that I'm going to be a part of that. I might be a little bit. But I don't think I'm going to plant any field in sorghum in the spring. I think I'm going to plant sorghum after I combine my rye again this year. I don't know if any of you watch Illinois Sand Farmer. I don't know about it. But after he combined rye, which I know he combined within a week of me, I planted pearl millet. He planted Sudex. You guys have seen the videos of my pearl millet blend. His Sudex was probably 5, 6 feet tall at the same time. So I think I'm gonna go that route this year. Plant Sudex after the rye, possibly to chop it, but most likely to graze it. So we process about 190 bales an hour. Wrapping definitely depends on help. No speed demon. And see if you have the kind that my neighbor has. It takes 2 people, but it doesn't wrap all the way complete. It just wraps the perimeter of the bale. It doesn't wrap the faces too. You might have one different than what I'm thinking of. When we did TMR, we had a lot more hay in the spring. New quick areas, we didn't have a lot of time to test, but we didn't have a lot of waste. Yeah, they're doing a lot better with it the way it is now. And as this cow herd grows, I need to figure out a way to make it that I can graze more of my cropland. So that's another reason for going to the wider row. Because right now I've only got 32 acres of pasture, and 32 acres of pasture doesn't feed 30 some head of cattle pairs for very long. So I need to figure out a way that I can graze my cropland after a crop. Because I'm probably going to have to graze till it's gone. Then I'm going to have to dry lot the cows for a while. Then go out and graze again. Then hopefully it'll tie in with, grazing cover crops in the fall. So that's a lot of the reason, too, I'm thinking about going back to 36-inch rows. Yeah, John, I'm kind of thinking something like that. I wasn't thinking bunks, though, for the cows. Depending on how I set it up, see, the addition I'm going to put on for the cows is going to be 36 by 48. Should be enough for 31 pairs in there. I want to do like a 16 or 24 foot beyond that, build a shed going the opposite direction. Now, technically, with where the end of my concrete is, I could have 31 feet between the end of the cow shed and where that hay shed begins. So I could do like a 12-foot entry going into the cow lot and then do a drive along feeding area. Or what I could do is do like a 24-foot entry into the cow lot and then build the hay shed right there. And if I do that, I'm going to mount like fence posts or something, pigtail posts off the shed sticking out. So there's electric wire 18 inches or 24 inches out from the building. High enough the cows can eat underneath it, but low enough that they're not going to stand in their feed, and then I can just drive straight through there. And then with my electric drive-through fences, as I pull in, it's going to keep the cows from crowding around me right away. So as I get feeding through there, then they're going to start running behind the TMR to eat. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but that's to be decided yet, or to be determined, I guess. Ben on Messenger, yep. Yeah, Ben's a great guy. How's it going, Ontario Egg? Yeah, you're just Rapsy outside. The neighbor has one of them. I never thought I could probably call him and ask him if I could rent that for unrolling my bills when I'm chopping and make it a lot easier. But right now, I just take the net wrap off, stick the spear in about every 6 inches and peel it up, and then basically unfold the whole bale, then just fork it into it. See you later, cuz. Going good. How about you? Still alive, so it's great, I guess. Don't look, everybody. Here's the boss lady. So, anyhow, what else everybody want to talk about? How far are you from Dyersville, Iowa? Oh, probably 5 hour drive or better, 5 to 6 hours. Um, I want to say for me to get to um down to like Viroqua on that, I want to say is like 3 hours, so probably 5 hours. I'm guessing. It's a ways. Been down to the Toy Tractor Museum, so can't remember how long it took us to get down there. Hi, boss lady. Yeah, Midwest has a 190 and a D15. Um, and I can't remember. Me and him talked about the D or the 190. It pops out of one gear on him. So we're thinking either the fork is bent or something along that lines. So, or if there's a detent or something in the transmission. But if he starts making videos, you guys, he can explain what's going on, and then everybody can put their input in, except for the input that I gave him that day when me and him talked on the phone. So, Devin, we had a harvester, high moisture corn unit. We had one harvester for haylage, and that one was 110 foot tall. It was a tall prick. If you look back in history, in 1999, my Uncle Randy died on top of that silo. yeah. Then all the rest were staves. So I love Dyersville. It's the Las Vegas of the Midwest. That's where me and my wife went for a honeymoon. We went all over down there. Yeah, John, I can actually be on Lake Superior in a little over an hour, depending on how I drive and which way I go. Um, my parents live by John Stevens of Maple Grove Farms. If any of you watch him, my parents actually live by him, and it takes me longer to get to their place than it does to get to Lake Superior. I can be in Bayfield in an hour and a half tops, so I'm quite a ways up there. Yeah, the spring assembly might be war too. So I'm not too far from I-94 either. Um, I can beat I-94 in not much time either. So I'm kind of, I don't know that I'm really still in the Twin Cities outskirts, if you want to call it that. Um, where I grew up, where the dairy and beef farm was that I grew up on, that I passed up buying the beef part of it. Um, that was getting encroached by the Twin Cities bad. And now my parents sold all the farms over there and moved up north. So that's why they're up by that John Stevens now. My dad was actually farmed and worked for the sheriff's department as a cop. So the 190s were famous for my granddad's 200 had a lost nut in the trans. See you, Laurel Creek. Yeah, Ontario, I can beat a Minnesota in about an hour and a half. Actually, I can beat a Minnesota in an hour and a half, or I can beat a Superior in an hour and a half. I can be, I could go over and be in Stillwater in probably an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes, or I could be Duluth in the same amount of time. So, yeah. First and third, but only when it's under load. Waterloo. How's it going, James? Um, so yeah, I am northwest Wisconsin. So I'm a short drive from Downing Tractor Parts. I'm a short drive from Lulich Implement in Mason, Wisconsin. I'm a short drive from Rice Lake. I'm a short drive from, oh, where else? Barron, where that girl went missing here 2 months ago now. Um, I can beat Eau Claire in a short period of time. Many of you probably have seen the name Jeff Trice that comments on my videos. I can beat his place in like an hour and a half, and he's actually closer to Wausau. So I'm up in that area, but from where I am, I can be to a lot of places in not a lot of time. Oh, where are we now? D14 bot has issue first and third under load. Uh, what are land prices looking like by you? They're it depends on what you're buying. If it's a big open field, 5,000 acre. If it's smaller stuff, 3,000 acre. If it's close to town, it's 10,000 acre. It's all depend. Hey Joshua, I'm a huge fan. Well, thank you. James, search for a TMR is I'm searching, but I'm not searching very hard. I'm trying to get a bunch of demos lined up first, so stay tuned for videos on demos. But probably won't be buying one until for sure before feeding next year. But until I demo and figure out exactly what I need, what I want, I'm not gonna just go buy one. So I think we're gonna get through this year the way we're doing it now. But before next year, we definitely need something because we're gonna have a lot more mother cows to feed. Live on a farm and work on a farm. Cool. I love the farm life. I've been on a farm my whole life. Love to go to Atlanta, Georgia car scene down there. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia would. I don't know that I want to go to Atlanta, but I wouldn't mind going to visit Georgia. Rainer, Wisconsin. I don't know where Rainer is. I'd have to do a map search on that and see where it's at exactly. If you know where Rice Lake is, I'm not far from Rice Lake. If you follow I 94 or find I 94 where 53 goes north, Rice Lake is like an hour north of Eau Claire. I'm kind of up by there. Chautauqua, um, Rice Lake, Barron, Turtle Lake, up in there. Do you ever get a Gale skid steer? I love ours. I've never drove a Gale skid steer, Devin. I drove my cousin's Gale AL 540 wheel loader this last week, and let me tell you what, that thing is awesome. I don't know if I put a video of that on. Did I put a video of that on Instagram? I may have. That thing is awesome. I was wrong. He thought it was just under 4 feet. It's just under 5 feet. He custom bailed for a lady this fall or this last summer, and she had a 5 foot wide gate. Well, he bailed for her, but he had to go way around to get on the tractor and baler. Well, part of the deal was he had to haul all of her bales in, and she goes, "Well, I don't know how you're going to get them here because there's only a 5 foot gate here. You got to go all the way around." Well, he brought the wheel loader there, and he could fit right through that 5 foot gate. It is 4.5 feet wide. I put in there. I said in the video it's under 4, but it's actually 4.5 feet wide. 7.5 feet tall and what was it? 13 feet long. But it's got the heck is it, like 8,000 pound lift. The thing is awesome. I would love to have one. Yes, Heitman Parts down south of Durand. Yeah, it'd be Nelson. He also, if you need John Deere parts for anything lighter than the 2 cylinders. If any of you watch Wisconsin Fisherman, I believe his girlfriend is either a daughter or a relative to him. I believe that's how it goes. See ya, buddy. I don't know them, Josh, but I watch them. Welker Farms, I don't watch very often. I do here and there, but Millennial Farmer, I watch his stuff. He's about 2 hours away. Yeah, John, I'm not far from Race Lake. Gale feed grinder. There's one for sale across the river from me right now, 120 that I thought about buying for backup or replacement to my 352 because it's not going to last forever and these older mills are getting hard to find. But depending on what we do in the future, I might build a roller mill like what Ted has now. Works at Quanex Building Products in Rice Lake, lives by Cumberland. Cool. If you had flatter ground, would you be doing tillage? I don't think so. Um, I have been around tillage my whole life. When we didn't really make the switch to no-till because of the hills, let's say. When I bought this farm, most of our ground was less than 0.5% organic matter. So we switched to no-till because everything that I have ever learned in any of the classes that I have taken, And then anything that I've watched online about carbon and everything in the soil, by doing the tillage, releases the carbon into the atmosphere. It's, if it makes sense to everybody. So by not tilling, you don't let any of that carbon per se. I mean, even planting lets some of it go. But we switched to no-till because our organic matter was low, and everybody, I mean, like teachers that I talked to, different stuff that I've gone to, the tillage is one of the higher reasons for lowering or higher destroyers of carbon, let's say. So we switched to no-till, and honestly, when we switched to no-till, we started doing cover crops right away. We went all in right away. There was no just no-till and then cover crops. We've been playing with cover crops as long as we've been doing no-till. Now, what I can say is if you want to go to no-till, but you're doing tillage now, I am a firm believer that no-till works best with cover crops. Now, I have a lot of neighbors that are big into no-till, and they do cover crops, but they still do tillage. They will do no-till for the corn and beans for X amount of years, then they will work the ground the year that they seed it back down. And each to their own. I mean, it's fun to turn dirt too. But on my farm, I have never seen a yield increase by doing tillage or no-till. It's kind of been the same. The only thing that we have noticed is we don't have washouts anymore. So I can't say that if I had flat ground, I would go back to tillage. No. Oh, which dairy farm is it, John? James, 7,200 through a 7,600 is what I'm after. 7,200, 7,210, 72 through 76, 100 or 10 series. That's exactly what I want. I'd take a 7,700 if I could find one for the right price. But that's about as big as I need to go. I don't really need all that much horsepower. Still looking for a good 74. You got there. How's it going, Bandit? But, and I've said it before, I'm not totally after a lot more horsepower. 74 would only be 20 horsepower by spec more than what the 64 is, but they weigh a couple thousand pounds more. So that's really what I'm after, is weight in the hills with the chopper. I have gone... That's alright, John. Just message me or whatever on Messenger. I have been pushed down the hill back there in the 4440. Back when I had my 3950 chopper, and back when it was before I had my 14-foot boxes, I had a piece of junk 16-foot Badger 950, and I had a 16-foot, which actually is my bale wagon now, that chopper box. I got pushed down the hill back there in the 4440 at 3950 chopping corn in that Forage King box. And I was going down that hill, and all of a sudden I looked over, and the chopper was 90-degree angle of the tractor. I threw the PTO off, and I went from B1 to D1 right now. You're not supposed to shift the quad on the go. Well, we hit D1, and we took off. And that saved the knuckles and everything in the chopper, but everything just started sliding. And once them back tires start sliding and everything starts going kittywampus, the only way to get ahead of it is to grab gears and go. And that's why I want front wheel assist. And that's why I want more weight. My 44 didn't have fluid. Fluid would have helped a bit. And actually after that I put the outside dual back on. I can't remember if I put the inside dual back on then or not, because my 3950 was a long pull, so I could run the duals. But I put one dual on for sure, and that made a huge difference. But in some of my hills, they don't look that big on camera, but they're bigger than they appear. So I really just want front wheel assist. Not bad, might get to shell some corn this weekend. I hope you do, and I hope you make a video, because I am really interested. I know you're going to combine some with the direct cut head, and I think that's cool. I want to see that too. because I've been watching some other guys that are doing that on all their all their corn. But I want to see that 20-inch corn head working. That's gonna be cool. I kind of thought that 30 horsepower bump is a good rule of thumb for buying tractors. And the 64 is 85 horse, and I want 115, so it'd be about that 30 horse, and that's all the bigger I need. I can't justify picking rocks for weeks, so no till makes sense to me. I agree with you there, Dan. And I don't have many rocks here. We got shale, which you pull up shale chunks, but I just haven't. I'm on sand, and you can get compaction with sand. Don't get me wrong, but I've had NRCS numerous different things doing soil tests and soil samp or compaction tests and all kinds of stuff. And every place that they find compaction depth wise, we can name the piece of equipment that did it. And it's not all weight from the equipment. Sometimes it's a tillage tool because like where the disc scrapes in the bottom, if it smears it, that'll make what acts like compaction. It'll be a layer that water can't filter through. Stuff like that. So for me, I just do the cover crops. They work. Everybody has different soil though. I have, what do I have? 35 different types of soil on this 100 and whatever odd acres here. So I understand that part of it. It just whatever works for you. Full chopper wagon corn silage, kind of scary. Yeah, it does. I've been pushed downhill with a chopper and chopper box 3 times in my life, and on top of the hill here, this 60 acres south of me used to be part of this farm. There's a trail through the woods to get to the top field. And back when it was part of this farm, the trail, if you guys ever notice when I'm out in the pasture, there's a driveway that goes up the hill. That used to be the driveway to get to the top field. Well, when I lost out on buying that ground, because I wanted to buy the back parcel of it, the back parcel was like 31 acres and the front was 20 whatever. It's 59 acres total. But this is before I was on the town board and everything and didn't know about farmland consolidation, and we're not even going to get into that. But in the 2 years that place was for sale, I took care of heating it and plowing and everything up there. But in return, I got the hay off the fields. Well, coming down that field driveway through the woods, I have my dad's old 8-wheel H&S or 8-bale H&S bale hauler with the 4020, and I only had 6 bales on the wagon. But I come down the woods and the tires broke loose coming down the hill. All you could do was aim the front tires to their downhill. The tractor was starting to slide sideways. You're going down. Oh my god, about crap myself, but made it. And that's another reason I want front wheel assist. If I get this other piece of ground that I'm trying to buy, there's a field on top of the hill, and I'm gonna have to haul bales downhill. So yeah. Am I ever going to get Holstein calves? Well, you and I are going to know pretty close the same time because as of this point, I don't know. I am considering buying calves this spring. I might sell my feeder calves this spring and buy smaller feeder calves back to feed for the summer, then sell as feeders again in the fall. I don't know for sure, but I can't guarantee you they're going to be Holsteins if I do that. There's going to be Swedish Red, there's going to be Montbeliard, there's going to be Fleckvey, there's going to be Milking Shorthorn, there's going to be, oh, what else? And this is all a mix. They're not all purebred, so they have quite the variety of cattle over there, but it's a friend of mine. It's the place that I milked for when I first got into rotational grazing, that I learned a lot of the grazing stuff from, and they have almost 1,000 head of grazing cattle. Cows, dry cows, heifers, calves, they're all rotationally grazed. So, I can't wait, Bandit. I like seeing stuff that I never seen before. How about a 9620 RX? You'll have to key me in on that one because I don't know what a 9620 RX is. Lots of sandstone. I want to add covers. Yeah, and I've got sandstone here too. Sand will, yeah, you're right, John. It will compact. And that's the biggest reason for the cover crops. That root grows in there, and then when the plant dies, that root stays there and it slowly breaks down, creating a void, and that's what helps water go in and helps build the carbon in the soil and all that. So that's I use the plant as my tillage tool, and I tell you what, I'm waiting to see what happens next year because these radishes were awesome. So I think they're going to be a huge player on this farm in the future. Summer when we were doing wheat, we had a wagon roll packed 30 feet on us, so dry. I sat there for 5 minutes before it rolled. Yep. My cousin, when we were building now a ship pit for the new barn, on their farm, he started sliding down that hill and rolled off our feet. Yep. Did you ever taste those radishes? I did not. Um, the lady that kind of runs the store that I buy a lot of my seed from, she asked me on Facebook if I would get some for her and bring them to her next time I went down to get seed, or I'd buy my salt and mineral from down there and most of my seed. But I made that video when the cows were actually going back and eating all the radishes, and at that point I didn't want to just grab any because I figured the cows might be eating them, so I didn't get any for her. But she said they taste like most radishes. They're a little hot, but other than that, they're just fine. So she's had them before, not out of my field, but she's ate them. 9620RX is John Deere's largest John Deere tractor, 620 horsepower. Yeah, a lot big for my operation. Yeah, John, tillage radishes are what I had in that mix this fall. That mix was cereal winter rye, spring oats, um, icon radish, which is a tillage radish, and pearl millet and soybeans, and a little bit of corn seed that I had left over I threw in there too. And those radishes were awesome. In Dan, those radishes, I'm sure you could probably find them cheaper at other places, but I paid $2.75 a pound for them, and I planted around a pound of the acre. Next year, I'd like to try it with the whole broadcasting thing, like I'm talking to V4, V5. I just don't know how the radishes are going to do because they say if you plant them too early, that they will go to seed. And I don't know that I want them going to seed really. Maybe, I don't know. The biggest thing is with the no-till and the cover crop, it works the best if you have cattle on your farm and you can do a crop rotation. Like I keep a lot of the same fields and corn for a long time, and they really frown upon that. But with the computer program that I use to be certified by the state for a nutrient management plan, as long as all there's no soil T loss or any of that stuff, I can plant whatever I want as long as it stays within its parameters. So I can do corn on corn for years. But biggest thing and the nicest thing with having the cattle is having a demand for hay or use for hay. So if all of a sudden, let's say I plant these radishes, they go to seed and they become a weed, because a weed is something you don't want there when you don't want it there. That's really the only difference between a cover crop and a weed is a weed is something you don't want there when you don't want it there. Well, if these radishes become a noxious weed, I could seed it down, and if you time your cutting right, if you cut it before it can reproduce, eventually it's going to die out type of deal. So, um, I don't know. I don't know if they would go in then or if I would plant them like right after I chop silage or something. The more no-till I have done, the better I like it. I agree, Corey. It's it's not going to be perfect right away. It's not going to be perfect every year. It takes some thinking outside the box. It's But then again, I mean, corn isn't perfect every year, and soybeans aren't perfect every year, and oats aren't perfect every year, and winter rye's not perfect every year. So you know, I know guys that farm for 60 years out of their life, and they did something wrong, and it's a learning experience. So it takes time. Do I store all of my corn? Yes, I do. It's in the north side of the shed. I store everything that I haven't sold. Everything else that went on the semi was sold. I kind of read it, but I didn't read the whole thing. I'm afraid to read it because I'm afraid I might get pissed off if I read it. To me, that just doesn't seem right. I kind of read a little bit to my wife, and she agreed with me. I mean, my animals will chew on the boards, but they're not eating the boards. Yeah, um, I have some other friends, Devin, that have the same issue as you, and they did switch to no-till, but it took years to get where that clay would take water from the cover crops when they switched to no-till. It takes years. It's not as fast acting as it is here on mine. It like with them, I think they had low spots that would hold water for half the year. And once when we were in that drought here, 8, 10 years ago, they could finally get in there, and that's when they started planting radishes, and they planted a bunch of other winter annuals and then summer annuals and stuff in there, and they finally got to where that dried up, and they're farming it now. But it took a long time. Most people don't have that much time to invest in a mediocre crops. Most of us are maxed out. We got to have every acre produce max. So in your situation, it'd probably take a long time to be the results that I'm seeing on mine, especially with water infiltration. Yeah, tile helps to a point. Um, a lot of guys have tile here too, which seems crazy. We're on sand and they have tile. One of the biggest issues I see with the tile, well, the other thing that irritates me is they put tile in, but then they put a center pivot on. You're trying to get rid of water, but then you're bringing more water back. But the biggest problem I see with them is every year they have a backhoe out there fixing tile where it's undermined and the tiles are filled in with sand and all this other stuff. That's the one bad thing I see about it. I actually have spots here. I have two spots on my farm that used to be a swamp that we're farming them now that could use tile, but I seem to get through it every year. September harvest beans because of the heavy compaction. They did really good here. I don't know what type of soil you have, John, but yeah, I know slow charging. But I would think that they would work just as good for you as they do for me. I mean, they're some aggressive, they're aggressive plant. If you got cattle, they love to eat them too. The cows went out and ate all those turnip tops before they ate the pearl millet. So my training, depending what I find when I split it parts, are anywhere from a cheap 500, few O-rings and gaskets to 2 grand with clutches. You don't know till you get in there. And when it comes to O-ring stuff like that, a lot of times you can go to a hardware store and actually find universal things to fit in there. If you knew my cousin, you would know a lot of cheap ways to get around expensive things. Flush away some of the magnesium. Yep. No till is slow go, but cover crop speed it up. Exactly. I honestly don't think, hey, John, I honestly don't think that no-till alone is good. This is my personal opinion. I don't think that no-till alone is perfect or good. Now, if you're no-tilling, say you're no-tilling into rye, the rye was a cover crop. Now I harvest it for forage, but you're no-tilling into a crop. You're no-tilling into a crop. It's kind of like a cover crop. But if you're just constantly no-tilling into a summer annual every year, where you're no-tilling into dead soil every year, I don't think I don't think there's a benefit to it. Honestly, I think no-till works the best with a cover crop. Uh yeah, gypsum is used around here. It's really hard to get though. It's kind of in high demand. It's heavy black soil with blow sand and spots. Yeah, I think it would. I think they would work good. I don't know how far you are from Samson Farm, but I don't even remember if you're in Illinois or Iowa. But I know Samson's down in that area too, and I would say that he probably has the same type of soil as you. And I don't know if you maybe you don't watch Samson Farm, but if you don't, check him out. He just commented on here. You should be able to click on and go to his channel and subscribe to it or whatever. But he's getting into cover crops a lot too, and he's down in your neck of the woods. So um, maybe talk with him, and he could probably you guys could pass ideas back and forth. Because that's the other thing. Where I am works for me. You guys are, a couple hundred miles south of me. What works for me is totally different for you guys because we don't have the same growing days. We don't have, I mean, our spring is a month apart from each other. Our fall is a month apart from each other. We don't have the same type of soils. So it's nice if you can find other guys that's on the same parallel as you at least. Um, you know, so yeah, but O-rings shouldn't always cost that much. And a lot of times, if you buy the parts singly, you can get them for cheaper because if you buy a whole kit, a lot of times there's stuff in there you don't need that ends up costing you. Gypsum is a carrier, everything rides it into the plant. Cool. Iowa. Yeah. Um Samson Farm. He just commented back here a little bit. Samson's Farm. You should like his page and chat with him in some of his videos. You and him are down the same parallel down there. Have a good night, Corey. Thanks for stopping by. So, when you put in your rye and the mixture that you graze your cattle on, do you have pretty consistent seed depth or does it vary a lot? Usually it's pretty consistent. My drill is very aggressive. It's actually too aggressive. I'm actually thinking about selling my no-till drill and going back to try and find like an 8300 John Deere, or I'd even go back to a B model Van Brunt. I had a lot better luck no-tilling with that drill than I have with my no-till drill. My no-till drill is actually too aggressive. For me, I'm on fairly light soil. I'm not quite blow sand. I am in certain spots, but I'm mostly sand loam. You know, sand with clay. And the old drills had no issues going in them soil. And the longer I've been in no-till, the softer my soil's actually been getting, which seems kind of weird. So, but with the broadcast thing, you have to take into account for seeds that don't germinate, so you up your rate. But broadcasting into a standing crop, usually with the shade, helps preserve moisture, so you have germination. But yeah, my drill isn't very. It's almost too aggressive, so it's not very. It's not very even accurate. Yeah, I would say that mine varies quite a bit. There you go, John. I'm sure you're seeing the comments too. Humboldt, Iowa. John and John, there you go. Yeah, you guys should chat because Samson there, he's getting into it, and he's still young at it, but he's got a pretty good understanding, and he knows who to talk to for advice or questions, type of deal. Oh, I don't disagree with you, Darren. Burning dinosaurs, how's it going? Oh, it doesn't matter if you're a little late to the party. You showed up over north of Ames, Iowa. Yeah, check out my buddy Samson's farm there. Great guy. He's fairly new to the YouTube thing too, so he doesn't have a whole lot of videos out this year, but um, I think next year he's gonna have a lot more to post because he's got a lot of great ideas. So I know he's not gonna be on here for very long tonight because he's actually working. So, but yeah, check out uh check out Samson's farm. John Deere, that's much better compared to Great Plains and no-till drills. I honestly don't know much about the Deere no-till drills. Actually, the only thing I've really seen of them is what I see on Ted's videos. I have a few neighbors that have them, and they brag about how great they are, but um, I honestly can't say. I would like to get a Great Plains because I think that theirs has a very nice seed or depth control setup versus like what I have now that's washers that you just adjust your washer thickness. Um, but I'm not in the market for spending $30,000 on a drill right now, so I'm kind of looking to spend $30,000 on another tractor and then another $30,000 on TMR. So honestly, I'm thinking if I knew that I could get my money back out of the drill that I have now, I would sell and go back to another old double disc opener John Deere conventional drill. That's all I need for no-till. Trying something new to me. Put 80 acres of tillage radish and put in rye. I hope it works for you, John. I hope you have as good of results in your first year that I had in my first year because I was extremely happy my first year of doing the cover crops and no-till. I was so happy that I've never looked back. You know, was it last year, the year before when I worked up that, gonna seed it down? I should have just sprayed it and no-tilled right into it. I would have saved myself a lot of fuel and time. Um, then to have the crop never came anyways. I think that's because it was planted too deep. But I probably should have, after I worked the hell out of the ground, I should have waited till it rained 2, 3 times, then no-tilled into it. But which by that time it wasn't no-tilling anymore. Anytime, buddy. I'm just glad that you showed up. Don't know if you're on your break yet or if you're done for the night, but glad you stopped by. Drills like Wes has for putting hay in. I think he has. Doesn't he have a 750 or is it a 1590 something like that? Uh, I for the right price I would. I mean I would try one. I think he's got the same thing that Ted Kaler has. Um, and it's nice when you know people that have something like that to go buy one, because then you know who you can call and ask questions to. And if you're looking into no-till at all, and you're gonna buy a John Deere, follow Ted Kaler. And if you have any questions, ask him because he is freaking smart when it comes to that stuff. And I mean, he plants in one day what I plant in a whole year. I mean, he covers thousands of acres no-till. So he he isn't no BS when it comes to it. So I talk to him a lot when I have questions on that because like I say, he covers a lot of ground. I only farm a couple hundred acres. He farms a couple thousand acres. He's got a lot of knowledge in one year, so and he's got a John Deere drill like that, so they can't be all bad if he covers that kind of ground with one. So yeah, sometimes the drill I have now is heavy too, and sometimes they're designed that way because they need the weight to get in the ground. The thing I like about the Great Plains is the ones I've looked at, anyways. They're like an end wheel drill. Like mine now, you've got the wheels way in the back, and then you've got a row of discs, and then you got a row of discs. You can't turn with that drill at all because if you do, everything gets bent out of whack. So that's one reason I like the Great Plains because everything's in line like an end wheel drill. I think their discs are still staggered, but their wheels are at the end in line with those. They're not set out way back behind. That was one of the biggest things that I liked about them. Um, But I don't know for sure. I might send mine to an auction. I don't know. I might go back to an old style drill, and I might try and find a tie drill. Uh, 15 footer pretty easy to find. 12 footer are kind of hard to find, but I'd like to find a 3-point tie drill. Take out whatever rows you don't want, and then you could go plant 3 6-inch space rows down your corn rows. That would be really cool. And if you get one with enough seed boxes on there, you can have rye in a big box and whatever else in a small box or whatever. But that's just thinking for down the road. Got a few minutes left on break. Done at midnight. Past 11 here. Yeah, I should probably end this pretty soon so I can go out and feed the horse and go check on Miracle and the little one's name that was born a couple months ago. Her name is Pumpkin, so the kids named her Pumpkin. So we got Pumpkin and Miracle in the pen together, and we're probably gonna want some hay soon. The only reason I'm doing it is because of washing and heavy compaction. Washing and heavy compaction. It's a good enough reason to do it right there. Great. Yeah, that could be. That's why they're heavy, to get them discs in the ground. Looking for a 12-foot coulter cart minus the drill. Well, I'll tell you what, Dave. If you find a tie drill with a 12-foot coulter cart in front of it, I'll take the drill. You can have the coulter cart. See you later, bud. Have a good night at work. So, anyways, yeah. If you see that Penn State thing, that drill that they made where it hooks on the 3-point and goes down the corn rows and they're interseeding between the rows, I'm kind of thinking about building my own. Burning Dinosaur, sorry I missed. Try scrolling up the comments, but did you decide on 30 versus 36? I touched on it a little bit at the very beginning. I could have swore that when I measured a year or two ago or last year that I could get my planter out to 36-inch rows. The center 2 rows I can't. I can get them to 30, I think it's 33. So I would have to move my axle again. That's not an issue. Not an issue. I explained this. I'm thinking about where my tires are now between the first and second rows and then the third and fourth. Take them completely off, move them all the way out to the end of the toolbar so I don't have that tipping issue anymore. Then I think I could go all the way out to 44-inch spacing. I think. Maybe not quite that much, but I think I can. But if I move the wheels all the way out to the end, it's not going to be as tippy. So when I have the marker down and it wants to do its lifting thing, it shouldn't lift them up anymore if I go that route. And it'll be easier to adjust from 30 to 36. I can go the full width. It'll only take, like I say, about an hour to adjust everything either way. So what I'm definitely gonna try 36-inch rows this year. I don't know if it's gonna be on everything or if it's gonna be 36 on everything I plan to pick or combine, and then 30-inch rows on silage. So that's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah. So I'm one of these days the corn planter is gonna go in the shop, probably closer to spring. I don't know if I'll make videos or not. Maybe once I get in the shop, maybe I'll make a quick video and see if there's any interest in the cutting it all apart and moving everything back and forth. So we'll get to that probably closer to spring, although right now is the best time to making videos. There's nothing else going on. So that's kind of what I decided on. See you later, Midwest. Have you seen the Corn? I actually have never watched any of the Corn Wars episodes. I know Canadian Welder, whatever, has mentioned that a few times, as some other guys have, but I've never watched any of them. I don't really know anything about it. I know that they're grain farmers. That's about all I know. I hate to go and watch it. See all the guys grow 300 bushel corn, and we struggle to grow 140 bushel corn, so it's kind of depressing, probably. But I've never watched it. So, anyways, we're holy cow, we're at 2 hours and almost 12 minutes here. So, Anything anybody else wants to discuss quick before we end it? Otherwise, I need to go and take care of the wife's horse. Make sure my little girls have hay and water. What's my take on organic? Ah, I don't have anything against it. I mean, I think if you can get into organic, if you could get certified organic, I don't think it would be a bad thing to do because with what with what their commodity prices are and everything, I don't think it'd be a bad thing. I just for somebody like me or most of us, it's harder to get into because like my soil is way too far degraded and too low in nutrients to even start. I think if you have a really good land that's very fertile, I think it'd be better. So if you have good grown, you've got animals, makes it better yet because you don't have to buy commercial fertilizer. It's a learning curve like anything else, but I think it would be good. Um, I don't go to the grocery store and look out, you know, seek out organic stuff to buy because I don't feel that our other foods are really killing us per se. Um, I have been to the bar many times. There's arguments at the bar every night about organic and GMO and everything else. And yeah, our scientists genetically modified corn, but they really didn't. They just bred different traits from one to the other. They just sped it up. Um, no, I've been at the bar at night, and when it comes to organic argument, and I've got buddies that say that everything Roundup is made out of comes from this earth, so how is it not organic? Each to their own. I think organic is great, especially if you are an organic farmer and you can get those kind of prices. You can get $10 bushel corn. Awesome. Good for you. So, be interested to see how you reset the planner. So, yeah. Sounds good. Once I get it in there, I will make another video and just, I'll probably make videos of it anyways. It's so easy to record stuff. The editing is the hard part. John, my planter is a New Idea 900 with Kinsey row units, which are just John Deere 7000. So basically, I buy all my parts of John Deere for it. Actually, I buy them from Shoot, but they're for a 7000 Deere. See you later, Doug. How's it going, Chris? Takes 3 years to get certified organic. And I think that's different depending on where you're at, too. Um, or maybe they've lowered it. I think it used to be 7 years here, and now maybe it's 3 years. I don't know. It's maybe it's 3 years everywhere. I don't remember. Or I don't. I shouldn't say I don't remember. I don't know. I would never switch to organic. I personally wouldn't either, Devin, um, because when you switch to organic, you go to a tool belt that has very little tools in it. And I'm kind of all for having the extra tools in my tool belt. So, um, and honestly, like for me, I sell extra corn. I sell extra beans. I really don't sell any extra hay, but I have. But typically, I don't. I don't sell a lot of stuff off the farm. What I do sell is cattle, and I direct market 90 to 100% of my cattle. I very seldom have to haul anything to the sale barn. I normally haul it right to the butcher shop. So for me, I don't make any more. I wouldn't make any more if I went to organic or if I market it as 100% grass finished or grass fed because I don't think that I could get people to pay any more than they already pay for my product and they're happy. I have customers that buy every year, year after year, and they've been buying for 10 plus years. I have a great customer base and it keeps growing every year. And I don't think that by switching to organic, I would make any more money. I think I would actually probably lose money. Um, I think if you can get in direct market is your best bet. But if you don't have that, if you have a lot of acres, then organic might be your best. But I really don't know. It's kind of what works best for you. Oh, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours here, Chris. Organic is not worth it. Yeah, I agree with you there, David. One infestation of armyworms, you're done because you haven't. I don't think there's anything you can fight them with. I think you're right, Devin. I, corn is $10 a bushel, but where I'm coming at, and you probably are too. If you have to buy any commercial fertilizer or inputs, we buy for $3 corn. Our fertilizer has X amount of dollars. But but the people that supply the organic folks with their needs offset that income with a higher price on their products. So I don't know if you really come out any farther ahead. Um, but then, like like uh like David said, you have one crop of or one bad batch of armyworms come through and wipe out your whole crop. You don't have anything to fight them with, any pesticides. So I don't know, and that's where I say the whole I don't want to put on a tool belt that has less tools in a type deal. So that's going to organic. And I'm not bashing anybody that does. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great. You know, Farmer Pete, he's an organic farmer. He's down in southern Wisconsin. Um, I have 5 organic farms within a couple miles of me. The one thing that irritates me about the organic dairies are that if they can't buy whatever within 150 miles at any given time, that they could come to me and buy hay from me or buy corn from me, but mine's not organic, but then they can feed it. That I don't understand and that I don't agree with. But I don't know. You can't give them vaccines. No, you can't. And we do a lot of organic stuff with our animals per se. We use diatomaceous earth instead of using dewormers and stuff like that. So, yes, I know. I need to end this pretty soon.
Can I take over for a few minutes while you give your daughter a hug?
Yep, organic is great, but workload is very high. Like with cattle, I'd rather cure what's wrong with them than watch them and pray they get better. I agree. Boss lady's gonna take over for a couple minutes so I can go tuck the kids in bed.
Hey everybody. I don't know how you do this on the phone. Just scroll up here or what?
If you just touch the screen a little bit, don't push on it. Just kind of scroll up a little bit.
How about you?
Like this. If you go like that, you just kind of touch and swipe up, and it'll bring up the last comments.
Okay. Like with cattle, I'd rather cure what's wrong with them than watch them and pray that they get better. Definitely. Sorry, people. Hey, Bandit, how's it going? Nobody's seen me for a long time here. I've been super busy with school. I've got one class left, and I've got one paper to finish writing tomorrow for the class I'm in, and then I'm done. Thank God. Hello, everybody. A lot of you I don't even know. I've been kind of off the air for the past almost year and a half here, trying to finish up a bachelor's degree for a profession that I've already been in for the past 16 years. All right, look, he's back.
Well, you can continue on if you
Oh,
want.
no, that's okay. All right, bye, everybody.
Maybe you want to sit down next to me.
It's getting late.
I know. I need to go and take care of your horse. All right. Oh. Chris asks if you ride horse much these days. It's too cold for her.
What's that?
Chris asks if you ride horse much these days.
In a short little while, I will.
I don't know how far down here you've been.
I didn't get very far.
If organic farmers get a bad infection, what do? They just pray. Chris asks, you ride horse much these days? No, it's too cold. She probably could this weekend, but it's still going to kind of be cold this weekend, maybe next weekend.
I've been riding in some pretty inclement weather, and I will as soon as I'm done with school.
Mark asks, why do you make me feed your horse?
I don't make him do anything. He secretly likes to, and he loves me so much that he's willing to help me out so that I don't have to go out in the cold while I'm while I'm doing school.
It's freaking cold out there.
Yeah. I help him castrate calves and things like that. So,
John says congratulations on classes.
oh, I would just say a little prayer that I passed the last couple papers here.
Did you see Banna said hi?
I did.
Noah said hi. John
I
said
did.
hi. Sometimes you accidentally skip them, you don't see.
Yeah.
Shell some by hand and it tests a 17.4 timed to run it. Yep. A lot of mine was around 18%. And that's the problem. I was in the same situation as you. I think I actually have more deer than you do. But once it gets down to be about 20%, you kind of got to weigh whether it's... What are you going to lose less on? Paying to dry it or feeding the deer? And once it gets down to 20%, I just want it off. I'm tired of feeding the deer. I just made a video the other day. The heck was there? 26 deer. And I just harvested how many deer during deer hunting and how many the neighbors did. There's still that many deer around, so I would say run it too. I know you're a little bit farther away from a drying facility or anything. I think mine has to go 20 some miles one way or whatever to be sold, but have a good night, Dan. What classes at my exams are this week?
I don't know if Noah and I are taking the same degree or not, but if anybody wants to have any input on a public health concern related to substance abuse in this area, that is what I'm writing my paper on tomorrow. Community and population health management.
You can do it.
I can do it.
Where's the beer? She already had one at the bar a little while ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
How's it going, Mr. Anderson?
It is you.
The boss lady brought up the other day. I don't remember what it was. Something about when she's done with school, she wants to go ride horse with you guys.
When I'm done with school, I'm going to do a lot of things. Every day. Brad's getting sick of hearing it. I'm getting sick of saying it.
Yeah. Closest is 23 miles, but if you don't have a contract with them, they won't buy yours, huh? See, I haul to a federal, whatever it is, facility. But, like, they'll buy it. But, of course, their prices suck compared to if you haul it to the river. But basically, they're a middleman. They buy it for, like the day I bought it. Their cash price was $3 a bushel, let's say. But the Chicago board was $3.83, so they turned around and took it somewhere that'll pay the $3.83. So they made 80 cents, 83 cents, but they had to haul to wherever it was going to. So I don't know. It's kind of you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't type of deal. And I don't know, but I think us farmers are pretty good at getting screwed at everything we do. 20%. Go into the bin, throw air on it for 30 days. And that's all mine that I picked that I put in the shed was between 18 to 20%. And I never did get another fan to put on it. I just kept stirring with this skid steer. And the only part that got bad is where that hole's in the roof that keeps leaking on it. We have enough horses for the whole family. Yeah, I see that. I don't know.
I see your videos and I'm like, oh, wait, there's horses. Yep. Especially, it's the Palomino, and then there's like a roan one, right? Like that Appaloosa one.
There's a couple of them.
I don't know.
That. I like when he's on Mystic or whatever the Palomino's name is, and he says that she talks.
Yeah, so does ours. You can hear from inside the house.
As soon as I shut this lamp off, she'll be out there talking because she knows I'm coming.
Yeah.
There's yeah. No, I don't know, Devin, if you follow that the heck was their name? They just sold their cows here a week or two ago. They're over in Cadott. I know her name is Danielle, but why can't I think of their farm name? They just sold Sold all her cows, but a couple. She's milking a couple, I think, just to feed calves now. But there's been a lot of them that have shut down here in the last couple of weeks, and that's another thing we discussed at the bar. And a lot of people feel that there shouldn't be more than 500 cows in X amount of miles of each other. So I don't know. Now somebody, I think it was Darren, shared something to me the other day that Wisconsin wants to do something kind of like Canada, but the problem with that is the only way it'll work is if every state does it. You can't have just Wisconsin's herds that are on a quota system and not everybody else's, because everybody else will just add on and push Wisconsin out. So I don't know. Yeah, and the worst part, Bandit, it's not only at harvest, it's when we buy fertilizer, it's when we buy fuel. Corn is down a couple dollars a bushel from the last few years. Why hasn't seed prices gone down any? Oh, it's because we pay for the genetics. Right. Ride ponies and river breaks. West River, South Dakota. Yeah? I don't know anybody that has horses in South Dakota, though.
Maybe we can bring them out there.
Maybe. We went from 150 cow average to milking 80 this past year.
Yeah.
How's it going, Carl?
Hello.
Wayne says hi, too.
Hey, Wayne. Was that Wayne in Alaska?
Yes, that's Wayne.
Oh, hey, Wayne in Alaska.
AK stands for Alaska.
All right. Good to see you survived the earthquake up there. That's just awful.
How's it going, Egg Wild? Farmers are guaranteed to get screwed both directions. And yes, they are. If you're on YouTube, you're guaranteed people always write nasty comments.
Isn't that the truth? Or just say it.
Sometimes it's nice to have guarantees in life, even if they are bad ones. Kind of seems like that's the way it goes. I don't know. I've got a few big fans on here because I've got 5 that like the thumbs down every video within the first, I swear, the first hour that they come out. But I don't cry about it anymore, so I know the camera's over there and I always look at this side. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But I get bad comments.
Everybody gets bad
Not
comments.
even a messenger from you. Only on my videos. Sutton Rodeo County NFR. Huh.
What? Bought milk today for 99 cents a gallon. And a dozen large eggs for 85 cents.
Wow.
How in the...
I don't even know
It's
how
not
they...
even like that up here.
But a lot of that, like the cheap eggs and the cheap milk, it's... A lot of those stores will drop that price, but they have other prices on other stuff overpriced, so they make up for it on other stuff, and they use that as like a gimmick to get people in the store. Walmart's bad for that.
They're certainly not going to lose it.
But most of your small town grocers have their milk priced right. And like us, we have a grocery store in our small town, and normally she stops there when our must-haves, all the, that you need almost every day, like your bread, milk, butter. But she'll go shopping like Aldi's or whatever for a big shop. But otherwise, we try to buy most of our stuff from the grocery store in town. And it costs more to buy from there, but she doesn't have to go out of her way to go to Walmart, or which we can't stand going to Walmart.
And if you don't support the little guy, then pretty soon you have no town.
Right. We don't want to lose the grocery store in town. Just got home from seeing Santa. 4 degrees here. Brr.
Did you have some warmer weather?
You should have asked Santa for some better commodity prices.
Oh, exactly. The trolls definitely are the most loyal viewers. They gotta make sure that they see what you're up to all the time, because, they gotta make sure that they have the game up on the competition.
Oh.
If that's how you want to look at it.
I tell you what, it doesn't take much for anybody to be up on me, because I'm about one of the cheapest farmers you're going to find on here. Oh boy. I'll have to
take out a loan and buy a Snap-on truck and jeez. Wait.
Then people run and hide from you.
And when I first met you, the Snap-on guy visited you awful lot.
Yeah. Back when I was still a mechanic. Yeah, I've spent money like on the tractor and that kind of stuff, but a lot of the stuff I buy is scrap for the most part. My choppers were bought for scrap, and I made them work. So all these people that dislike me, I don't know what they're worried about or why they dislike me, other than maybe they don't, maybe they dislike the fact that I don't spend a lot of money. I don't know. Go take a loan, yeah. Have what it feels like to be on the other end. Just kidding. Well, thanks, Denny. I mean, Chris Denny. You're gonna have to do that. I don't want people to be spending their money on me. Not cheap, economical.
Exactly.
You got that right, buddy.
No, I have a funny story. When we were doing hay, we were hauling hay this summer. We were baling hay. He was hauling hay.
Yeah.
And I was riding with you, and I busted the door handle off the farm truck, and then I go to crawl in the truck, and all of his pop cans fall out on the floor, and he's like, "Hey, watch it there! You're gonna get rid of my retirement."
Yep. The pop cans are my retirement. I won't buy an ounce of milk or eggs from Walmart. Me either.
Yep.
I see where they get their milk and eggs from. Oh.
Haters are jealous. Yep.
That's gotta be it, because I don't know.
Sucking cheese curds too, darn it.
I like milk from the bottle. You know, Devin, that's one thing I miss from growing up, is milk from the bulk tank. And
I do too, kinda. I don't know. We drink, don't get all angry now, but we drink 1% and we have for years. But I grew up on bulk tank milk.
So did I.
Brad did too, and I don't know. Of course, now my parents sold cows, so they don't even have any bulk tank milk. And honest to God, when kids were hanging out with them, they wouldn't even let them drink bulk tank milk like we did. So I don't know.
No, when the kids go to Grandma and Grandpa's, when they did have bulk tank milk, Grandma would still stop and get milk for the kids because she didn't want them to drink the bulk tank milk because they weren't used to it.
Yep.
But then again, I have a neighbor that their parlor is about as crude a parlor as you're going to find. They set their cookies, their sandwich stuff right on the concrete in front of the cows. Manure and all. They pick it up and eat it. They don't even think about it. Flies eat landing on it.
Well,
they've got to have the toughest immune systems out of anybody I know.
But you know what, though? Growing up doing chores, if you had your can of pop and you sit on the window ledge, you put the cookie on top of your pop, keep the flies out of it, and the cats come up and end up chewing on the cookie. And, if it was the first batch of cows that came to the parlor and nobody crapped in there yet, it was basically still clean.
You put your cookie on top of the open pop, keep the flies out of the pop, they poop on the cookie. Yeah, yummy. Got mine at Kroger's or local Save-A-Lot. And see, that's our thing. Like, we have an IGA in town. We try to do business with them to keep them in business. Mm-hmm. Because I think one of the worst things for a small community is when they lose a grocery store. Yeah. And the owner of our grocery store does a lot for the community. Mm-hmm. So it costs a little bit more to buy stuff from him, but
they know your name.
He gives back a lot, and everybody there knows you by name. Half the kids there know your kids from school. And, all the kids that work there are older kids, and our kids are all younger kids, but they know our kids. So they know us, and they know you by name. They see you walk in, they're already talking to you before you're even in the door,
And they help you carry your groceries out to your car, even in, 10 below weather.
Yeah, I miss it too, Carl. I would have to skim it off a little bit now, and now I've been drinking. When I met her, I was drinking 2%, and she switched me to 1%. And it's one of those things, once you get away from it, you're not used to it anymore. And now 2% when I'm at mom and dad seems thick. Never drank anything but milk out of the jug. Dad quit milk before I was around. Siblings would take their cup out of the barn. Right from the cow. I tell you what, if it gets to be where it's just all big dairies and everything, which, whatever, I'm not really knocking the big dairies by any means. But when you have family and friends and relatives and everybody that are in the dairy industry, but not milking cows, and they tell you how the big dairy is pushing the little guy out, and we're not going to get into a pissing match and argument. But when these people that sell semen and all this other stuff say that the big guys are hurting the little guys, you know that it's got to be a little truth to it. But it's to the point now where I don't really. Part of it is the dairy is its own worst enemy. The corn growers are their own worst enemy. The bean growers are their own worst enemy. Yeah, we've got the China thing going on right now. But what's the cure for high prices? High prices. When prices are high, everybody grows it, floods the market, then you get low prices. It's supply and demand. It's no big thing, or it's no big surprise. But
Nobody can figure it out, though.
nobody can figure it out. And with the way they're treating everybody in the creamery is what really pisses you off. When the last minute they send a letter, next month we're not taking your milk anymore.
In the middle of the winter.
It makes a guy say, you know what? I'm going to go buy my own cow, milk my own milk, and piss on them. You hate to take your business away from the end guy that is milking cows, but in the end, he's getting screwed too. So, if it gets to be where there's not too many small farms anymore, I think I'm going to buy a Jersey and milk my own. So, I mean, yeah, but put my Pop-Tart on a tray in a parlor. Free snack.
It's interesting, the free snacks cows will get. I had one that liked to have suckers, too.
Sounds delicious. As kids, we didn't think a lot. No, not really.
Yep.
Yep. Have you heard about a farm in Wisconsin that feeds their cows Skittles? I haven't heard of a farm in Wisconsin, let's say, but I know of feedlots that feed bread, they feed
Donuts.
candy, they feed donuts, they buy a lot of sugar goods that are expired or something, and
it's mixed in with stuff.
It's mixed in with other feed stuff, but yeah, I have heard of people doing that. The funny one is the one that Midwest Alice was talking about earlier. He sent me a link on Facebook. A guy that's feeding his cattle sawdust. Probably. I didn't read the whole article.
Can't be just sawdust,
but they're feeding sawdust because the guy has a lumber mill. And I don't know, where do you draw the line here?
If that's even true.
Chocolate for sure, I've seen that.
I wonder if it comes out with chocolate milk then. I bet that you could get somebody down by that.
I don't know, Carl, did you see the Facebook post? Maybe you don't see my wife's Facebook post. But there was a discussion about chocolate on there tonight.
Oh, oh wait.
Chocolate don't last long in this house.
Wait, I'll go get it. Look at it.
Oh, man. No? Yeah. So I don't even know if I can explain to you. I'd almost have to share it to you on Facebook. Because I think she's got it where only her friends can see her stuff or something. I don't know. But this house, if there's chocolate in it, it's good as gone.
So this is supposed to be a present for a teacher.
I opened it up because I saw the wrapper was off it today.
And inside, now granted, I took a couple pieces too, okay? So, but really, at first there were only these 4 missing, and where the 4 are missing, it says...
There's little notes in there to the teacher.
I hope you have an extra special Christmas. I hope you like your present. Thank you for being the best teacher ever. And it says who it's from, and I'm thinking...
Do you know how tacky it would be to give a gift that's been opened? Your teacher has 4 candies missing and a little note stuck in there?
I'm sorry I couldn't help myself. I just wanted to make sure that they were the best tasty chocolates before I gave them to you.
Not to mention, the other day, she discovered that there was a big marshmallow about that big around, which she bought a package of marshmallows for Grandpa.
Because he loves marshmallows.
Because he loves marshmallows. We discovered the bag was open the other day. She opened up, took one out. Well, Grandpa won't miss just one. We have a cow named Cheese, and her calves are named Burger and Curd. I love all my cattle. I love my cattle, too. I couldn't imagine farming without the animals.
Fiber is fiber, right?
Food waste management sells expired food for cattle. And you know, a couple years back, I used to get all the expired food from the grocery store.
Produce.
Produce for the pigs, which was nice. The problem was you had to unpackage it all, and that got to be a pain in the butt. We used to go to a big bakery and get leftovers and feed them to the hogs and the cows. Yeah.
Cows like them too.
Well, in Dembeck Farms, Steve has videos where he's been feeding his cows bread and stuff too, and I'm sure it tastes like candy to them. And we actually had a bull here from the neighbor one time.
That's how they got him in the trailer.
That's how they load him in the trailer. The neighbor lady, they have the goat dairy back there now. She would go out there and hand feed him slices of bread every day.
Yep.
He was a 2,500-pound baby. Oh man.
Everything loves carbs.
Yeah, I would. The roads have been repaired within 4 days, but we have lost 3 elementary schools with the earthquake. Wow.
Oh no.
I can't believe they got the roads fixed already. Yeah. Animals drive me crazy, but they do keep me from going insane. Yeah, life would be boring. And you know, they all have their personalities, and I don't know, I couldn't imagine not having my cows anymore. We get tails from the bagel shop. Do you eat them or do you give them to your cattle?
Or pigs.
Cow therapy is good for the soul. I don't think Fellowcraft has any pigs.
Oh, Bull loves bagels.
Bull loves bagels, I believe it.
it.
My cows, we used to get the sugar cubes when we were younger, and I want to get sugar cubes for my cows. I got, like the old cow, she's almost 15 years old. Well, she's 13 or 14, whatever she is. But she's a baby, I can go out there and pet her and stuff, but I want to give him a treat. But I tell the boss lady here every time she goes to town, see if you can find sugar cubes, or whatever, because my grandma used to have sugar cubes, and I took them out to the barn all the time for the dairy cows. And you didn't have to give them sugar cubes. They'd lick you anyways. But we can't find any anywhere. And I know they sell them somewhere because the kids always have them for craft stuff.
I have looked very hard.
Oh, you do have pigs, huh? I give them tastes of bush latte and see what happens. I don't drink bush latte. I drink full bush. And worse yet, she drinks piss water. She drinks Bud Light.
Oh. Every now and again.
You got 20? I didn't think you had any. How's your truck coming along? Get the bed back on it? But we're going on almost 3 hours here, guys. Yep, I thought I saw a picture of it back on the truck. Richard says we had a... Did I miss something up above? Yeah, exactly. Sugar cubes to build castles.
Yeah.
But I can't find anywhere to get them to feed them to my cows. Unfortunately, the food waste management plant burned down 2 years ago from all the wrappers laying around. They'd mix with 18% corn pellets. Along with
corn fiber.
Huh. Mine loved apples and would go nuts. We have pictures from back when our daughter was born, and the cows used to come up right along the fence here to get up to the pasture. And in the fall, we'd always pick the apples up in the backyard because we had 2 apple trees. We're down to 1 now. But she'd fill up clothes baskets full and go over there and just feed the cows. And that's our oldest cow was a young cow then. And the other cow that was a heifer when I bought the 2 together from my dad, she was spotty. And then her first calf was red. They'd line up. And you'd hold the apple way up, and they'd reach up, and they'd wrap their tongue out and grab it. And
then they'd spin it around and squeak inside their mouth.
And that's the one thing I miss. That dang horse has got to be right here now. Our cow lane don't go up right next to the yard, but we just carry apples out and feed them on the back of the horse barn, I guess. When I haul beet pulp, I sometimes grab a damaged box of sugar cubes. Huh. I wish I could just find where I could buy them. Maybe got to check Walmart. God, I don't have to go to Walmart. Amazon. Yeah, let's check Amazon before we go to Walmart.
I know what to get Brad for Christmas.
Dairy calf that drank used oil out of 5-gallon pail and lived. Poop the oil put. Wow. Lucky it lived.
Wow.
Good thing it wasn't antifreeze.
Ew.
Good thing it was oil, not antifreeze. I ate Dale bagels. Around here, they're probably week old before we eat them.
I'm not picky about carbs. If anybody can tell, it wasn't seen me in a while.
Office supply condiments. Maybe that's where. Chad said office supply condiments.
Okay.
That would make sense. Sugar cubes for your coffee.
Oh, yeah. I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, and now we've got Miracle in there, and she's a big baby anyways, but, you kind of, during the summer, I've got cows that will come up and you go and scratch them in the pasture, and other times they're just like, no, leave me alone. I don't, whatever, I want my grass. But it'd be nice if you go out there, give them a treat when you're going to go out there, so keep them that way, because Miracle, we want to AI her to get bulls out of her for breeding. So it'd be nice to get to where, you can always walk up to her and catch her. I hate to bribe them with treats all the time, but
it's kind of like the fair kids.
I bribe her with treats, so why not bribe the cows too?
Bribe me with anything. Hey, honey, I got all the bulls locked in pretty easy. Why don't you get your barn clothes on and come out to the barn and help me run the chute?
Yeah. Yay. Castrating was fun, let me tell you what.
My least favorite day of the year.
Noah's Amazon has sugar cubes.
Yep.
I have to place an order on Amazon. Get out your credit card, honey.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
No, but the fair kids, some of them would teach their pigs to sit and do tricks with mini marshmallows.
Yeah.
So.
Mini marshmallows might work with cows too, I don't know.
Yeah. No, because your daughter would eat them all.
Yeah.
1 for you, 2 for me.
I'd go buy a bag of marshmallows for my cows. My daughter would eat them all. Nothing's safe in this house.
Nope.
My daughter don't eat them. The wife will.
I'm not. Chocolate. Caramel.
Yeah.
Marshmallows last resort.
Well, everybody, we're at 2:48. Anybody got anything they want to talk about quick? Otherwise, I need to go out and tuck a horse in bed and make sure 2 little girls got enough hay to get them through the night, fill their feed pails back up, and all that fun stuff. So, cousin has a cow that loves beer,
and they love your beard. You see,
like that.
You can like almost put it in a little ponytail.
It's been a month and a half since I shaved.
Oh.
Call me Grizzly Adams. Have a great night. You too, man. I suppose you're like an hour behind us yet. So it's not as late there, but it's almost 11 o'clock here. Oh, yeah, you know it, buddy. They don't find me handsome. They should at least find me handy.
He's got these wings growing out over here.
Yeah, I need a haircut to look like a Fruit Loop. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We still got 31 people watching right now. Wow. I appreciate everybody for stopping in and hanging with us, man. We've had like 31 the whole time, so it's been awesome. So, yeah. Appreciate everybody. Oh, wow. November is over.
Yeah, but I mean, the only part that's not covered by hair is just like here, so it's built-in muffler.
Keeps your face warm. Yeah, it's cold. I'm sure it's just as cold on that side of the state as on this side. Caber needs to be tucked in bed. Nah, she wants to eat, though. The little girls, I like to make sure that they've got enough bedding, though. Which they got plenty of bedding, but they like to lay. They eat half their hay, then they lay in the other half, so I give them a little bit of fresh hay every time I go out there. Hope it don't get like Captain Jack.
I won't let it get like that. He gets to be like the Oak Ridge boy.
Okay, sending you a pic. Good night. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more videos. Like I say, I'm going to try and get some demos lined up with TMR mixers and some other things. And once I hear back from some other YouTube creators about some other possible potential, I don't even want to say what could happen, but we could have a lot of interesting stuff coming up. So otherwise, we'll get that corn planter one of these days and get work on that and find some other stuff to make videos on. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
And stay tuned for Boss Lady's Happy Dance very soon when I'm done with school.
Very soon.
I can do it.
Have a great night, everybody. See ya.